Ready? Play.
Hello, very warm welcome to everyone once again for this semi-final. As Terry says, play has started. We're just 1 point late, but hopefully we will be here for the rest of the match at least. And I've got Andre beside me today as well. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. You?
Good, really good, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Really excited. I was doing the Danielle Collins Arena Sabalenka match last night, and I did say, but I promise I was joking, that I wasn't excited for the men's semi-finals, or at least wasn't as excited as I am for the women's final. But I am actually excited. I was just joking, and I think this one is probably the more exciting of the two. How do you see this one going?
It was kind of tough for me to make a call because I thought it was just interesting how their dynamics are in a sense, because like you would imagine a player like Jarry does better on hard, but he grew up on clay, and then a player like Paul would do better on clay, but he grew up on hard. So they obviously kind of have those mixed up dynamics with game styles and surfaces that they're comfortable on. And I was kind of giving this light edge to Jarry just because of that. He's more comfortable. He has the power game. And upon seeing that they actually played last year and Jarry actually beat him in 4 sets at Roland Garros, I kind of felt comfortable with my pick. I definitely think that Jarry is the favorite to win this match.
Yeah, I'm in exactly the same position. I think Tommy Paul's played brilliantly so far. Obviously, the win against Medvedev is a big win, but I think Medvedev's possibly not at his best at the moment. I think we all know that. So not as big of a win as it might be on paper. I definitely think Nico Jarry's win against Tsitsipas was a little bit more of a big win and more of a sign that he's doing really well at the moment, and that this one for me is more likely to go Jarry's way as well.
Yeah. I like to always kind of ask this question to people that I'm with in those streams, but what do you think is the key for each player if they want to win this one?
Oh, that's a great question. You know what you're doing. What's the key? I think for Tommy Paul, what I've seen from him quite a lot in the matches I have watched of him in Rome is that he has a few lapses in concentration, I think. And I think that really could have cost him against Hurkacz, who wasn't playing that well, certainly wasn't serving to his full capability. And I almost think Tommy Paul, managed to get it back, and he did well in the end in that third set. But I definitely think he could have fallen due to some sort of lapses in concentration, times where he wasn't at his best. So that's sort of one of the things I think he needs to really do today is stay on it all the time, stay focused. In terms of Jarry, it's difficult. I mean, if he's serving well and he's hitting as big as he was against Tsitsipas, it's sort of whether he's feeling it more than anything for me.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think for Jarry, it's basically, I'd say maybe he kind of would prefer to hold his serve as much as possible. Paul is a better returner than Tsitsipas, especially off the backhand wing. So I'd say maybe just kind of try not to stay on the defense too much and just kind of really kind of lean on the aggressive style that he was playing. And he's really good at it. And I think for Paul, it might be a bit of holding the fort on the forehand side. I think if you can keep it like not making errors, and I guess I would say exactly as it is, like the lapses and concentration should be probably the one thing that could hold him back. Because if he loses his serve and then Jarry's kind of playing confident and starts holding, it can get away pretty quickly from him. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, with Jarry's serve and the way he's been playing, I think even more so for Tommy Paul, he needs to stay focused. Like I say, Hurkacz wasn't at his best. I do think if Hurkacz had been at his best, he probably would have taken advantage of that from Tommy Paul a lot better in the quarterfinal.
Yeah, I was actually surprised a bit when Tsitsipas, his level was up and down. I feel like he kind of could have held serve a lot better. Has had a lot of breakpoint opportunities, but yeah, Jarry definitely was a lot more clutch in that match.
Yes, absolutely. I think it was funny with Tsitsipas. You could tell at the end, or at least I felt like I could tell. I think generally Tsitsipas is quite good at the net afterwards. He's quite respectful to his opponents. He tends to, smile and tell them they've done a good job, and I think he's quite good. He did so exactly the same when Jarry beat him yesterday, but there was also this anger, I think, in Tsitsipas at the end of that match, where I think you could see how much he believed he'd thrown it away as opposed to anything else.
Yeah.
Which he's
For
probably
sure.
right to an extent.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Yeah.
So we are at 1-0 Jarry, 15 all ball serve.
Yes, yeah, sort of going as expected. There was a sort of vague chance for Tommy Paul in that first Jarry service game. It did go to deuce, but nothing too difficult. In the chat at the moment, I see we've got Terry, always, as from the beginning. Nice to see you, Terry. Hopefully you and Ghosty won't be at odds as much tonight. Who knows? As you were yesterday. Ashley, lovely to see you as well. And Ghosty is also here too, so hopefully you and Terry can get on just fine today. We've got one of them a Danielle Collins fan and one a Sabalenka fan last night, so that was very fun.
Do you think the winner is in the semifinal, or the heavy
Is it this
favorite
semi-final?
is? Yeah, what do you think? Is Zverev like the heavy favorite now?
I imagine, yeah, he's got to be, hasn't he? I was surprised by the first set today, the 6-1 to Tabilo. Yeah. Really impressive. It was clear that he needed to get that done in the second set, and when he didn't, it sort of all fell apart for him, which is a shame. But yeah, it does feel like, especially overcoming that, I think Zverev is probably the very heavy favorite, whoever wins this semi. What about you?
Yeah, same here. I mean, he's won this tournament before. He's got plenty of experiences in the main stage, big finals, maybe not Grand Slam level finals, but definitely a Masters 1000. He's got a lot of these under his belt. So yeah. He's kind of turned into a pretty decent clay court player. As in, like, it's not that he's never was a decent clay court player, but in the beginning of his career, I kind of saw him more of like a hard quarter, like fast court player, and then now he's kind of became like this very solid defender, like absorbing pace and booming serve. So yeah, I think it's gonna be very interesting who makes it into the final. I definitely think that between these two, Jarry would have a better chance. Just saying, but I don't know.
No, I totally agree. I've got this real feeling about it. I don't know why. I don't imagine that a Tommy Paul Alexander Zverev final would be quite as entertaining, perhaps. But maybe that's just me. But yeah, I definitely think Jarry would have a better chance of the two.
Any predictions?
But like you say, he's won the tournament before, and he seems to think he's sort of this tournament's Yannick Sinner, as Yannick isn't there. He seems to think he's taken on that role for the Italians, so he might have the support in the final.
Yeah. So we have a break point now for Jarry. Is your stream up to date, or?
I never know. Mine does say it's advantage Jarry, and Tommy Paul's about to serve on mine.
I think that's correct. Let me check my stream. Yeah, I think it should be like a second serve right now.
Yes. Yeah, I think I'm on about the same.
Yeah. Bad error from Jarry there. But I tend to kind of overlook these first like 3 to 4 games of a match just because players are always not playing so good.
Yeah, I know what you mean exactly. A lot of the times, you get a break in the first game or the first couple of games or something, and you're a bit like, yeah, but does it even count yet? It doesn't feel like it's it does much at the start.
It's funny how it happens a lot. Like the only players that I really see going out off the gate like as well as this are just like those legends like Serena Williams, like Rafa Nadal. Even Djokovic doesn't necessarily get that much of happiness like in the first few games, but even Swiatek, I think playing in the first past couple of matches, she got a breakdown to Coco, I believe, in the very first game of the game.
Very first game, yeah. Exactly. It doesn't really matter how good you are, apart from, like you say, a few of those legends that just you can't even put them in categories. But really, most players just start differently. I think it's also worth mentioning the conditions here this evening. I was watching the women's doubles semi-final before this with Coco Gauff in that one with Erin Rutleff, and then against Zheng and Wang Jinyu. And in the second set, there was 10 breaks of serve out of 12 games. And it sort of seemed to suggest, a lot of the commentators and everything seemed to suggest that was sort of to do with the conditions, the just really struggling to hold their serve. It's a lot slower than they were perhaps expecting. That could have an effect this evening on this men's semi-final. I suppose we'll have to wait and see if it is a lot colder.
Yeah. Do you think these low conditions favor more Paul or Jarry?
Probably, if I'm being honest, probably neither of them will love it, but probably Tommy Paul for me.
Yeah.
More so, just the amount that Jarry's getting on his shots at the moment. If he's not able to sort of get that, then that might help.
Yeah, I agree. I think Paul would prefer those like longer rallies. As I think case in point, we've just seen a couple of errors from Jarry's backhand and forehand, and kind of the game is back to 1-1. Chances a little bit for both. Like, we'll see what happens in this next service.
A lot of that feels like you said, that sort of early nerves, early sort of settling in, that they've both had some chances.
To go back from a few of the comments that I've seen in the chat, yes, my name is very common in Brazil. Well, not very common, but it is common in the region where I'm from in Brazil. And nice. I don't really know exactly where the origins are. It wasn't that big. My family wasn't big in that area, but my suspicion is that it is of Dutch origin, but I don't know much about that or anything past that. So yeah.
Yeah, Ghosty just knows stuff, so it always comes up.
The internet never lies.
Very true, very true. I always trust the internet. Good to see Nerlin as well. Thanks for joining us. You think Sabalenka is going to make the final look easy? Interesting.
For whom?
Good question. With it being Nerlin, I can probably guess who he thinks it'll be easy for. I think it will be an interesting final. I think it's unlikely to live up to the wonders of Madrid, but I'm sure it will be good anyway.
Yeah. I can't really tell who is the favorite. Probably backing Swiatek just for history in Madrid, but yeah, Sabalenka seems pretty excited to win a title and get a win against Swiatek.
Yeah, and me and Nick were talking about this yesterday. She's sort of due a win against Iga. They tend to sort of share the wins out quite evenly, and Iga's won the last two. I'm going for a Sabalenka win, but only like barely. I'm really not sure. 30 all here on my screen, so another bit of a half chance for Tommy Paul.
Yeah, both players kind of missing long, it feels like. I don't know what's up with that.
I don't know whether the wind's picked up or not. I can't really tell. I
Mm.
know women were also struggling on their ball toss in the doubles, but I don't know
Yeah.
if that was related.
I don't really see any indication of the win, but it might be that.
No.
I don't know.
Good hold from Jarry in the end.
See what their stats are like.
Swarner says, if Sabalenka wins tomorrow, then Rybakina won Stuttgart, Swiatek won Madrid, and Sabalenka won Rome. Great way to hype up Roland Garros. That is true. Is that the only reason you want Sabalenka to win, though, Swarner? Just to even up everything before RG?
I mean, yeah, definitely right. And they all facing each other on the way, by the way.
Yeah.
Rybakina beating Swiatek in the semi. Now Swiatek beating Sabalenka in the final, and then of course like tomorrow's final here.
I love that as a reason to want her to win, though, just to sort of even things up. That's great, Swan. I love it. That's a good reason.
You definitely pull up some favorites in the race for Roland Garros, because if Swiatek wins, most people already kind of pick her as the favorite, even though it's not her over the field. But if she wins, she would be a much heavier favorite than if Sabalenka wins, because it kind of like, I think, toss things up a lot more.
Yeah, no, I agree. If she can prove she can beat Sabalenka twice in sort of a few weeks and also beat everyone else along the way without much issue, then I think she'll go in incredibly heavy favorite.
Yeah. Serving stats so far are interesting. We have 79% first serves in for Jarry and 69% for Paul. But Paul is winning more on his second serves. So, yeah. Though, like, the sample size is very small. Jarry only has served 3 second serves, so it doesn't really make for much of a stat.
No, it's always difficult to judge serve again at the start of a match. Yeah. You sort of get a feel for it, like what how you think they're serving, but you can't really back it up with stats until a little bit later.
Yeah.
Feels like the main reason both of them are missing points at the moment, like you say, is just they're just going long on relatively easy shots.
I don't know if the serve and volley is going to be the best tactic for Paul here, unless he wants it to be a surprise tactic. I don't know. Just kind of doesn't really feel right. I feel like he should stay back and try to make points stay long.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I imagine he's just sort of trying it out, seeing how it works. I don't know whether he'll stick with it, but
yeah.
Jarry going for the big backhand return down the line there, but just wide.
I want to see some intention in Paul's first serve. I think he could do a lot of damage serving body. But yeah. Bit of an interesting choice to me that he chooses to serve second serve onto the forehand. But yeah.
Yeah, he's sort of tried to push him wide, which I suppose works to an extent, but the forehand's going to be too good for you to do much with it.
to the forehands work this time, but
I suppose it's bound to work sometime.
yeah.
That one was a good serve to close out that game.
Mm-hmm.
Important to note, as John has reminded us, that he will be off to Strasbourg next week. Very exciting. So hopefully we'll be getting a lot of interview content, a few more friends of the show that John can wrangle into supporting us. I feel like I've really lost track of the people who'll be in Strasbourg. I've seen so many people dropping out and coming in, and I've really lost track of the draw there.
I think this kind of always happens week closer to the slams, right? Like it's tough to tell, especially if players decided they got enough match play. They just like, well, yeah, I'll drop it out.
They just pull out straight away. It's the exact same in Eastbourne last year before Wimbledon. They dropped like flies from that.
Yeah. Andrusova is playing Strasbourg. I don't blame her. I don't think she's had the best of a season so far, but
yeah, that feels like a good move. Just like Djokovic in Geneva.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I wonder how much Djokovic is gonna give of himself in Geneva. Maybe he's maybe we can get like two wins. I think he's gonna be like, okay, time to slow down. And be ready to take on the best of 5 match.
Yeah. How excited would you be at the prospect of a Djokovic Andy Murray second round, which is on the cards?
I think I want to see it mostly just for the content that people will be creating around it, but I don't think the match itself it might be pretty bleak. I don't think it's gonna be a good match because I feel like the only
painful.
Yeah. If Djokovic is playing badly, that's the only way I believe Murray has the actual chance of winning. And if Djokovic is playing badly, I could even imagine this going like a 3-hour match. Like if Murray can take it to this far, and it would just definitely be like not a pretty match at all.
No, I agree. I actually think he'll have a bit of a job to beat Hanfmann to get there. I know everyone's talking about this round 2. I think that's quite tough for Andy Murray to think about being Hanfmann where he is at the moment, but we can dream, I suppose, about a painful Djokovic-Murray matchup.
What do you think of Murray's racket change?
I'm quite surprised by it, I suppose. It feels like a strange time to do it, but also, why not at this point? He can do what he likes. How many months has he got left? I don't know, but I feel like he's just doing whatever he wants.
Yeah, I wonder, like maybe switch to Yonex, try to get more power off of his forehand or something. I don't know, but yeah, maybe he just kind of worried and he's like, yeah, let's see what happens. As you said, like there isn't really much of much going on, I think, in terms of like expectations or anything. So let's just do whatever I want right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's sort of how I feel. Ghosty saying Murray's changed his he's changed his racket for I believe it's the first time in his career, right? That he's changed his racket.
I'm fairly sure. Yeah.
So he's just having a bit of fun. Really nice to see you as well, Jake. I haven't been on talk. Well, I was on last night, obviously, but before that, I hadn't been on for a little while. So it probably feels like a long time for me too, Jake. But nice to see you.
So not super eventful match so far. We have Jarry had 3-2, no breaks, only 1 break point so far. That was in Paul's first service game.
Yeah, it's been pretty routine. Sort of what I expected at the start of this match. It was just some, decent-ish holds, nothing too spectacular, and then it'll ramp up towards the end of the set, I'd imagine. Are you somebody who's sort of loves these tournaments where you get maybe the four semi-finalists that we weren't expecting, or do you prefer the tournaments where we get, you know, the Yannick Sinner, Carlos Alcaraz, Medvedev, Djokovic?
I think it depends on who makes it to the semifinals. I think these guys, Paul, Jarry, I think specifically Jarry, I'm pretty invested in. I like the way he plays. But generally, if it's like a bunch of extremely surprise, I wasn't super sold on Tabilo. I thought he was one of those surprises that may never kind of do the same thing again. But the way he played against Zverev, maybe I'll change my mind on this one and see like maybe he can grow into a solid top 20 player or something. But I think from all of the when we went back to the big three era, the prime of their powers, if you will. Normally, if you had like a bunch of those semi-finalists, that was a little bit surprising. They normally didn't put much of a fight against the other big three that was left. So my lingering feeling is that normally when this happens, the ending of the tournament is going to be a little boring. But I think we are in a time of, you know, transition, and I think a lot of players are kind of being able to like hold the fort a lot better. So this one, I don't mind it as much. There's not as much of a star power as having Sabalenka and Swiatek and Kokogov and Collins in the semifinals, but those are still interesting matches to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I think I quite like it when you get like, so for example, here in Rome, you get the women's side, which is, you know, jam-packed, top of the, you know, top of the thing, and then you get a sort of surprise men's draw. I like it best when you get sort of a bit of both. So I quite like it if they swap around and you get both from both tours. But mostly I normally like a bit of a surprise tournament because then they don't happen that often. We know that we're most of the time going to see the same sort of players up there. So I quite like it when you get a bit of something different. I was very happy for Rublev in Madrid, for example. I thought there was some great matches towards the end of that tournament.
Yeah, Madrid was a very interesting tournament in that it was pretty plagued by injuries on the men's side. It just didn't go very well for them.
No, absolutely not. I can't imagine what the Madrid organisers were thinking when they had no Carlos Alcaraz and then no Yannick Sinner. Just, blow after blow for them.
Yeah, I think for the people working in the behind the scenes that were not the higher ups, everybody was probably just like, let's just get this over with. And just we'll never look back into this one.
We'll put this one into the archives and we'll forget it existed. Yeah, it's probably their go-to. Just a pretty regular service game that we've sort of talked through there. Nothing too.
It's just nobody has really reached any consistent level of playing their best yet. An ace to start.
Nice.
What do you think about if Murray and Djokovic meet? Are you excited about this, or are you just rather, as in the comment that we see on the screen right now, just not as invested in this?
I'm definitely not quite with Swarner yet. I am still invested. I think it's probably correct in a certain way. They've had their time. I still think Djokovic is probably going to come back and win slams because I just think that's who he is. But I know what you mean, Swarner, about they've had their time. And I definitely find there's a lot of other players that I'm really interested at the moment, but I still find their stories compelling. I think it's a different story now about longevity and how long can you keep up a level and how long can you bring back a level after so long. I find that compelling as well. In terms of a Djokovic-Murray matchup, I would watch it, I think, obviously, but I don't know how thrilling the tennis would be I'd probably find it, like I say, quite painful, but an interesting match in its own way.
Mm. Yeah, I definitely thought Paul would be defending a little bit better, but so far he's been not amazing. It's been good, but not amazing.
He's sort of, like you said, sort of doing bits here and there, but nothing brilliant from him yet. Quite a huge difference. They just showed me their average forehand speed. Jarry's at 136 kilometers an hour, and Tommy Paul at 119. So pretty big difference there.
Mm-hmm. I love Jarry's photo on the screen.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can zoom in. Let's get the. Oh, I can't zoom in anymore. That's such a shame. It is, very interesting, that one. There was one. Who was it that I couldn't help but laugh at? Like every time I looked at it when I was doing a match of his a couple of weeks ago. Is it de Minaur? Is it his photo? There's one of them that it doesn't look like them at all, and it really made me laugh, and I couldn't stop laughing every time I looked at it. But Jarry's is close to that. That is such a brilliant photo.
Yeah. He looks like the Aliens guy, like, you know the meme?
Yeah. He does. Yeah, I'll be honest, I was really sort of hoping for an all Chilean final at one point. I thought that would be a pretty fun story, a pretty fun final to get. And I've been, like you said earlier, actually, I've been really enjoying Jarry's tennis. For me, specifically, probably around the last 6 to 8 months when I've been watching him, I've been really sort of enjoying it and making sure that I try and watch his matches more. Because I do enjoy his tennis, especially when he's, really playing some of his best. So I think it's really nice to see that sort of paying off for him. And I hope it's not just here in Rome. I hope he can take that forward and build on it.
Yeah. I like those stories of those guys who kind of start finding their best tennis in their late 20s. It's like they've got plenty of experience playing around and just getting off the Challenger Tour, finding their weapons. And Jarry kind of fits a bit of the description. I believe he's about 27.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me.
I was 28,
yeah.
20, wait, oh, I was checking his ranking. His ranking is 24.
Ranking 24.
Yeah, 28 years old. Obviously, some history in his family. His granddad was a big Chilean player back in the day. Obviously, now he was Chile's captain in the United Cup, I believe, this year.
Yeah, it's nice. I don't know if he's there with Jarry in Rome this week, but I know that Jarry's now sort of, I think, 4 places off his granddad's best ranking of 14. So.
His dad, of course, named Jamie Filial, or in Spanish would be Jaime Filol. So, yeah. Let me check some stats on his career just because I kind of want to see it.
Yeah, no, I get you. It's not, the match isn't providing too much drama at the minute. Just to answer Ghosty in the chat, yeah, he was suspended. I don't think it lasted very long, though. I think it was only a year.
Oh yeah, there was something like that as well. I remember this.
That was 2019. He tested positive for, I'm not going to be able to say these names properly, but ligandrol and stanozolol. That's what I'm reading. He was suspended on the 14th of January 2020, and the ban expired on the 15th of November the same year. He was cleared as the ITF ruled that Jarry bore no significant fault or negligence for his violation. That's what I'm reading. I don't want to take any. That's just, I have not come up with those words myself. I know there's a lot of controversy at the moment with using the word cleared when it comes to these sorts of bans and drugs bans and stuff, but it said the word cleared on Jarry's Wikipedia. That's where I've got that from.
Oh, we got now an interesting point of the match as I was looking into Jaime Filal's career stats, from which he has 16 titles in the open era. So Jarry's a bit far from that record still with 3.
Yeah.
But now that I was looking away, we have a second serve at 1540 on Paul's game.
Yeah. Big chance here.
And Jarry slices a backhand into the net. Back to 30-40.
Yeah, that's not great from Jarry, but still got another chance here.
Wow, what a serve from Paul. But Jarry was able to bring it back, and it looks like Paul's forehand was out. And it is, and we have the first break of the match that brings up 5-3, and Jarry will serve for the first set.
That was close. That was really close, that one from Tommy Paul. Mohamed Layani out of his seat to check it, but it was out, as you say. So he's made his move.
Yeah. Feels like Paul is a bit admiring his serve a little, like instead of actually moving into position to hit that forehand.
He didn't think Jarry was going to get that one back.
Yeah, and now with this sort of quality of a return that he did.
Yeah, no, that was impressive. And with the way he's been serving so far, I'd expect him to close it out here.
Yeah. And Paul not necessarily returning extremely well either.
Proves your point there by going long on that first return.
I don't think they have Hawkeye in Rome.
Do they have the weird one where sometimes they show Hawkeye to us on the TV, but they don't have it actually in use? I think that might be the case.
It might be. I mean, so many people complained about it, and there's the case with Shapovalov, who was extremely unhappy about it in Roland Garros, and he showed the footage on TV. And I feel like to avoid controversies, it might just be better if you're not showing to the players, don't show it to the fans.
No, they shouldn't be showing on TV. We definitely, I definitely get quite a lot of it on my TV still. we get the Hawkeye. But I sort of, I agree. If they're not using it at a tournament, I don't think they should be using it in the background. If there's technology to prove that something's out and it's been called in and it's wrongly called, it just sort of feels a bit wrong to then be seeing that technology prove that that was wrong. And then you've got that sort of, I'd be interested, Terry, do you think they should just have Hawkeye on the TV for us to see? Or do you think they should be using Hawkeye all the time in the clay season anyway? It feels like it's not solving that many problems at the moment, Hawkeye, because the players still seem to have a lot of issue with whether they think Hawkeye's right or not. So I don't know how much it's really solving. But
it's funny too in terms of, by the way, Jarry just closes out the first set with a 40 with a hole to 15. A couple big serves in there. Paul wasn't really able to handle this, but he's one set away from his first Masters 1000 final, and I believe that would be his first final, maybe outside of the the 250 level, and it is.
I think so. Yeah. He made the Rio final this year, right, and lost to Baez.
He did not, according to. He did he reached the Buenos Aires final.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you make of the first set as a whole? I think, we've sort of, it sort of sums it up that we've been talking about a lot of things other than the tennis that's happening.
Yeah, it's just it felt pretty routine in the sense, like I feel like Jarry didn't have to play lights out tennis, just basically needed to keep his first serve in, and I think Paul isn't really showing some of his best tennis. I think some of your worries were justified. He didn't really play as well, just like he did against Hurkacz, but Jarry is probably just a little bit more comfortable today, and
I found that really quite frustrating in the Hurkacz. I really like Hubie Hurkacz, and I found it quite frustrating in that match that I felt like there were so many chances for him to sort of take advantage of these lapses from Tommy Paul, and he wasn't able to do it. But like you say, Jarry at the moment is well poised to sort of take advantage of that when he can, and that's sort of what's happened, I think, in this first set. Sean's saying he's got to go sleep. I hope you sleep well, Sean. Thanks for joining us for the first set here. So Terry, you think we should be using Hawkeye all the time? And Ghost, do you agree? I totally understand what you mean. I do think because they're using the technology, if they're going to use it on telly, they should be using it at the tournament as well. I just don't really know whether that solves a lot of issues for the players, because they seem to have a massive issue with Hawkeye getting it wrong, and then they tend to call the supervisors, and it goes on a lot longer than if they think the umpire's got it wrong. There's not really much they can do about it, is the only thing that I would say on the other side of that argument, perhaps.
Yeah. I do think that one of the best, maybe there's some psychology behind it, but the challenges when they were able to challenge, I think was probably one of the best formats that there was, because I think the idea is just getting a second opinion. It just if somebody calls it out and you kind of, I just want to see it again. Like if Hawkeye calls it out, there's no second opinion. They're just going to show the exact same thing that Hawkeye saw. And on clay, you have the huge problem with the mark that is just there, and it's just they just point at it and just kind of talk about it for ages, and and no matter how much, no, just gonna say, just no matter how many opinions they get, they probably they see what they want to see at the end of the day.
All of these arguments about, oh, you've not seen the right mark, this isn't the right mark, it's that mark. No, it wasn't, it was this mark. I just find it so, it's a bit frustrating how long those can go on for, but I'm not sure that there's any system at the moment that solves that. So it's sort of, Hawkeye makes sense. And I did like the challenge system. Swarner saying Vanch just tweeted a great stat about Iga. So I've Googled it. And do you mean the one that he said, if Iga Swiatek wins tomorrow, she'll have already won more big titles than Sabalenka, Rybakina, Goff, and Pegula combined? Is that the one you mean? That is a good stat.
Wow.
Pretty routine first service game of this second set for Tommy Ball so far.
I think for this match, you have something to give. I didn't use a tiebreaker or a third set now, because right now it's a bit of a snooze, to be honest.
Yeah, there needs to be some sort of injection of pace or energy into this for this to sort of capture me again. I don't think this is, either of these players are playing their best tennis, which is a shame.
We need maybe a mark that is close enough for it to be a 15-minute drama around it.
Yeah, definitely. We need, a supervisor or an animal on court, anything to sort of liven it up. I don't mind. I don't know if anyone saw the video that's going around today of that raccoon in American. I don't want to call it soccer, but I will for everyone else's sake. In American soccer, there was a raccoon that got on the pitch and ran around for a really, really long time. Wow. I think that would liven this up.
I have a borderline irrational fear of raccoons, so I think I would
Really?
be terrified of like running and catching it. So if I were one of the security guards on that pitch, I would not have helped.
They did really struggle. They ended up having to use a bin to sort of catch him. But I didn't realize. I'm so sorry for bringing up raccoons in that case.
Oh no, it's fine. As long as they're not near me, I'm good.
Okay, good.
They look very cute if there is a barrier between me and them.
Yes, yeah. I suppose for me, like in the UK, we don't really have raccoons, so it's not a palpable fear because they're always behind a screen for me.
Yeah.
That is the one time I will ever be saying soccer ghosty. Oh, I just said it again, but that's it now. Never again. It's football.
Tennis TV showing a graph right now, a stat of Insight's forehand quality. Jarry's forehand's 8.2, and Paul, I think, because it just went away, so it's like around like 6.2. So kind of basically just confirming what we basically thought about this match beforehand. Jarry's doing well on the forehand, and Paul isn't necessarily peaking on his forehand side today. So
yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what we've seen. I never really know. I find it really weird to put a number on a forehand quality to like say, oh yeah, that's an 8.2 forehand. Is really weird for me, but I'm not really one for the sort of really in-depth stats in sports. It's like expected goals in football. It's not for me. But but it makes sense that Jarry's is better than Tommy Paul's, at least to me.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically quantifying the from 1 to 10. How would you rate his forehand? It's just basically it.
Yeah, that's how it feels like. It feels like there's
Yeah.
somebody behind the scenes who's just like, yeah, that's about a 6.2.
Yeah.
If you say so, that's fine.
Ooh,
We
break
have got
chance.
a break for Tommy Paul, possibly. And he's back to spinning his racket around, so there's got to be a bit of confidence there.
No. It's kind of a really bad mistake, really bad error from Paul. Missed the backhand way long.
Yeah, that one was not good.
I feel like it kind of caught a bit of a bad bounce by the way that he just kind of hit it.
Feels like it. When they replayed that in slow motion, he immediately knew he'd done that wrong as soon as it came off his racket.
Yeah. Definitely returning a lot better in this game, defending, keeping the ball in much better.
Yeah, his returns improved a little bit as well.
Too big a forehand now from Jarry. Bring up advantage.
Of course, Tommy Paul did have a bit of a chance at the early in the early first set as well. But I think Jarry in both occasions has played the big points really well.
Oh, that was in. No, I don't know. It was in. Just huge forehand inside out.
Massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're hitting like that, it's going to be hard to
Yeah.
sort of
But
shake that off.
yeah, I do feel like there's some hope now. I feel like Paul can keep just playing this as applying the pressure. He's ought to make a mistake on that forehand. He's got to make one error that's going to give Paul like a bigger chance. Because he was just fearlessly firing off of that wing right now. Nothing you can do about that one.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like his big chance was on that 30-40 point, because in that rally he was sort of holding his own and doing pretty well. So
yeah. Paul has only been to the net 5 times. Is that a consequence of Jarry keeping it deep? What do you think?
it's difficult to know. I think probably that's the main reason. I don't know if it partly because that's not really Tommy Paul's game plan against somebody like Jarry. I don't know. How often did Tommy Paul come to the net against Medvedev? I can't really picture it.
Great question. Yeah, probably more than that because Medvedev just returns from so far behind the baseline.
Exactly. So that feels like maybe something you do more then.
Paul showing some emotion right now. Big let's go to his box. Goes to love. I personally think that maybe he's not necessarily playing his best to keep it aggressive and go up to the net. Like so, Jarry just been able to like be more on the offense right now. So I don't think that there's just been many chances for Paul to go up the net. I don't think he's been pushing Jarry far enough to do it.
No. But if he could be, I think, like Ghosty said, if he could be a little bit more offensive, a little bit more attacking when possible, I think if he could get to the net more, it probably would work well for him.
Yeah, he's very competent at the net. So. Haven't seen many serve and volleys either from Jarry. He likes to do that sometimes.
Yeah, no, it feels like he's sort of, I don't know, so far it feels like he's sort of playing Jarry's game rather than trying to sort of instill his own. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, so Tommy Paul only has 3 winners total in the match, suggesting he's not putting himself in a position to make passing shots. That's a good point. But again, with how offensive Jarry's been so far, it's quite difficult for him to get in that position. But I definitely think it's something he could be working on in this set.
Paul not dealing well with the slice and didn't even make Jarry play the volley right now. Oh, what a return. That's the one. Definitely needs to keep them coming a lot more.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's the sort of thing I was sort of expecting to see from him from the get-go, and we haven't so far. So
yeah,
it's nice to see him sort of look a little bit more pumped up, like you say, sort of talking to his box more, getting maybe a little bit more intensity.
Yeah, maybe we have a match.
Fingers crossed. I'd love it if we did.
I feel like Paul should be trying to send this backhand down the line more often because Jarry has been so successful just running around his forehand and just like sending it down the line. Just like this one. It just seems like it's his favorite shot right now.
Yeah. He's getting the length just right on that as well. It's right on the baseline.
Yeah. The thing is, as you said, like Paul might be playing just his game and he's just comfortable right now.
Yeah.
Oh yes, there you go.
If he can keep getting that return, though, he's got half a chance.
Yeah. You gotta make it happen on the deuce side. No.
Yeah, well, it might be trickier.
Oh, what a shot from Jarry. Just had to improvise a lot from this one.
Oh, that's nice. That's very nice.
Yeah, nothing Paul could do. I thought he had lost his footing a bit, but no, it's just Jarry's shot was just too good.
Yeah, way too good.
Yeah, applause deserved.
Great angle on that.
From Paul. Yeah. Jarry making it into the net. and having the hold for 2-all. Probably one of the most interesting games of the match.
I was just about to say that was the best game we've got so far. And the only real things that happened is 2 brilliant backhand returns from Tommy.
Yeah.
And a great little shot at the net from Jarry. But yeah, that was definitely something. And like you say, I do think Tommy Paul has got more of a chance here if he can sort of find some of that aggressive tennis that he's, when he is just hitting freely, he's so good. And if he can try and find that, I think he'll have more of a chance here. But
yeah, unlucky there with the net cord. Do you think Paul uses a Motorola phone?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, I think it's funny when the players they have these sorts of partnerships, of sponsorships, rather.
Yeah, surely they can't actually. Surely they can't actually use them.
Yeah, maybe they have a public phone and then a private phone or something.
Yeah, yeah. One that they can sort of be photographed with, and they put it away and they get their iPhone out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do like Tommy's appearance as a highlighter in this competition, as a neon yellow highlighter. I'm partial to it myself.
Yeah, I do like this color. I feel like pastel is nice sometimes if you're playing in the right place, but I feel like on clay, it's your time to shine.
Yes. I'm not huge on kits or anything, but I've been seeing a lot this week of the sort of kit reveals for Roland Garros.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really struck me how many of them are going with orange on orange clay. And it's just really confusing to me why that would be the go-to color.
It's camouflage.
Yeah, I don't know if I want my tennis players to be camouflaged, but maybe I'm alone in that.
Have a chance for Jarry, hit a couple shots deep and earn himself a very aggressive position in their rally. 30-all.
Yeah. It just feels like Tommy Paul's doing some stuff right and then just not quite hitting the mark.
Oh, and there comes a chance.
So off balance for that backhand.
I feel like maybe he's a bit hungover on that break chance that he's had and wasn't able to capitalize on.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, I don't think he had a break point. But yeah. That half a chance that he was playing so well in that game, but Jarry just kind of got out of jail. And now we have a... Oh, and there he goes it. Paul is just way too passive on that approach forehand. And Jarry made him pay.
Yeah. Like you said, exactly, that felt like one of those classic moments where you have a little bit of a chance on your opponent's serve, and that sticks in your head that you didn't manage to take it, and then the opponent just manages to break. And Jarry at the moment, it's a difficult one because it's not as if I think Jarry's playing unbelievably well. It's just that he looks so confident and comfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
And dominant over Tommy Paul right now. Please do try and hold in your Fanini-like cursing, Ghosty, if you possibly can, for the sake of everyone else in the chat. But yeah, it must be disappointing for Tommy Paul fans after, how he's played, not only in this tournament, but this year, to sort of see it not quite come together today.
Yeah, he's come close before on the hard courts as well, and the 1000 level. I believe he reached the semifinal in Montreal a few years back.
Ghosty giving us some information on Jarry and Zverev's head-to-head, which is 4-2 to Zverev, but Jarry won Barcelona 2019 and Geneva 2023. That's a nice recent one for Jarry to possibly use.
Yeah. No, a small correction. Tommy Paul has reached 2 semifinals on hard courts, ATP 1000 Indian Wells this year and Toronto last year.
That's the one.
Yes, just like Ghosty said, Paul beat Alcaraz for the second year in a row in Canada in a 3-set match. One of the weirdest.
Loves playing him.
Yeah, one of the weirdest half rivalries we've had in our sport. Alcaraz versus Paul.
Particularly in Canada.
Yeah.
First time Jarry's gone wrong on that forehand for a little while.
This has been his bread and butter the entire match so far. Oh, who knows? Maybe some nerves will kick in at some point and will open the door for Paul to get back into it.
It's possible, yeah. The prospect of reaching your first Masters final surely kicks in at some point. I don't know. Jarry's not the type of player I tend to see getting sort of nervy at the end of a match. I don't know why. I feel like there's certain players you're sort of like, oh, they might struggle at the end of the match, but I don't really see that for Jarry.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. He feels very, very calm and collected most of the time.
Whereas, there are some really brilliant players. Not that Jarry's not a brilliant player, but some of the top 5 players, like I often think Carlos Alcaraz can get to an end of the match and get quite nervy and sort of lose a bit of concentration or whatever it might be. But I don't think it always depends on how good you are as to whether that's an aspect that you struggle with, sort of getting a little bit nervous at the end of a match.
Oh, what a slice. Paul was definitely looking for the inside-out forehand, but he just kind of had to improvise with a slice there.
Yeah, that's just because Jarry's slice was so good.
It just stays so low.
Yeah. The level's at least been a bit higher in this second set for us, I would say.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, Paul has gone to sleep a little bit now again. He was waking up at that 2-1, 2-all stretch, but now the backhand just kind of went away again.
Yeah, it's really tough to watch sometimes when he sort of has those lapses, because it feels like you can't predict them. Like with some players, they sort of have those lapses in obvious places where they've sort of trailed behind in a set and then they're struggling to keep their concentration. Whereas Tommy Paul could be leading and he loses it, it could be losing and he loses concentration. It sort of seems to happen sporadically.
Yeah, and I can't really pinpoint what he should do to, kind of get himself back into this concentration, because like I feel like it's just too passive.
Yeah.
Go see who's leaving right now, maybe. If you are, see you later.
Yeah, see you, Ghost. I'm sorry this one didn't quite go your way.
Yeah. But yeah, like for Paul, it's like for Djokovic, for example, obviously not comparing Paul to Djokovic, but you can sense like there's a way, like if you can only keep balls in play, you can only put one more back, and just kind of keep it down, keep it deep. But Paul is like, he's struggling with everything right now, to be fair. Like he's playing short, he's not taking risks. It's just being manhandled by Jarry at this moment.
Yeah, it's a good word for it, actually. That's what it feels like we're watching. Terry, is that a Zverev better be on his game because you want Zverev to win, or because you think he'll need to be on his game to play against Jarry? I'm intrigued.
Meanwhile, we've just seen probably the best point of the match. This one goes in Paul's favor. This one-handed passing shot in a point that Jarry was 100% dominated.
Yeah.
That's still 30-15 on his own serve. 30-15 on his own serve. Gets even a smile from Jarry, who's winning, so we can't afford to to smile at this one.
Yeah, it's nice though. He does the little sort of impressed gesture there from Jarry as well. It was a pretty special shot from Tommy Paul, that one.
Maybe that's what he needs.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him. Sometimes I think for Tommy Paul, sometimes he just needs that one wonder shot, crowd go wild, and he can sort of dial back in.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of happened for Jarry, and when he got like that insane sort of drop shot back from kind of a mishit from Paul in his return 2 or 3 games ago. But now maybe that's what he needs to, kind of get some of his confidence back and be more aggressive.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Gets a hold, defending a lot better body language. Draws an error from Jarry's forehand with a very impressive backhand slice and the defensive backhand slice.
Yeah. Great movement there, I thought, from Tommy Paul as well. Sort of looked more active in the point than he has done recently. Nice to see. I still feel like he might struggle to get that break back. I think that's going to be difficult, even if he finds something in his service games. But you never know. That 1 point could change the entire course of this second set.
Yeah. This one's going to be playing on repeat today. And yeah. If he ends up winning this match, we're definitely going to see a lot of this one.
We're going to see it all the time. We might see it almost as much as that Nadal-Federer point that I can't get away from on Twitter. Yeah, Ghosty's left at just the wrong time. he's just left in disgust with Tommy Paul, and he's just hit the best shot of the match. So seeing as we're on a changeover, and I tend to ask this to people that I haven't been on a stream with before and haven't met before, who are your sort of main faves or main favourites on both tours, men's and women's?
I think on the men's side, I don't necessarily have much of a fave right now. I liked Felix when he was doing well 2 years ago, but then he just kind of went away. So I'm just a little disappointed right now. But I think I really do like Alcaraz. And on the women's side, I really like Rybakina for some
Nice.
reason. But
Yeah.
nothing particular. There's no necessarily any rationale. I guess Alcaraz just because it's extremely exciting to watch.
Yeah.
And there's just something about the way that Rybakina is like just very ice cold. It just makes it very interesting.
Yeah, totally get that.
How about you? If
Yeah,
you have any.
No. On the men's side, I'm a big Alcaraz fan myself. Have been for quite a few years now. And women's, most people in the chat will know I'm a big Iga fan. I try not to let it affect my streaming too much, but I am quite a big Iga Swiatek fan. But I sort of on the women's side, I'm sort of a big fan of those main four. I think all four of them are brilliant sort of advocates for the women's game, and I love their rivalries and that sort of between the four of them. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I do like a match when players are able to push, specifically Swiatek, just because she wins so much so easily that when she gets pushed, it's really awesome to watch a match like that because she's so good. So you kind of have to be really good. So the match normally tends to be really good.
Yeah, I totally get that. And I always describe myself as like, tennis fan first and foremost. So even though I've got my favorites and stuff, what I really want to see is good tennis, whoever's the one playing good tennis. Yeah, we have got a third person joining us. Very exciting.
Hi, folks.
Scott.
How are you doing? How are we?
Good, yourself?
Sorry I came in so late. I do apologize. It's typical me just arriving at what could be the tail end of this match right here.
It very much could be.
Just because you arrived, you have another 2 hours left.
Yeah, I know. That's what I say, right? I mean, with tennis, right? I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was over, and then Paul hit that one-hand backhand passing shot, and I was like, that could be it. That could be the turning moment right there. We could be here for another hour and 50 minutes, and it is just shots like that make me believe in magic, because it was just chills. I knew that I had to come on and just say that straight away, because my God, amazing. Yeah. How have you guys been enjoying the match so far?
It was okay. Like the second set has definitely had better moments. The first set was pretty straightforward, so just kind of made some talk. But now things might be getting a bit more interesting. Now that
I don't think we talked about the match very much in that first set, which probably tells you all you need to know. But the second set, we've been talking about it a lot more.
A little bit more substantially. No, that's entirely valid. Have you guys watched much of the tennis these past 2 weeks in Rome at all, or is because I've been meaning to like tune into more, but I just haven't really had the time. This is one of the first evenings where I've actually like sat down and followed the tennis. But I'm not gonna lie, like I think the highlight of this Rome event has definitely been, I don't know if you guys have discussed already, but the Novak Djokovic water bottle incident.
Oh my God!
I think
we haven't.
Have you not brought that up yet? Sorry. Maybe that's old news now, but I think, to be honest, let's be real. That's really been the highlight, right? I feel like that's been the talking moment, but I don't know. He went out in like the second round, right? It was the second round he lost it.
He was in the second round.
Yeah,
he was a very faded version of himself.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see like next week, I guess, because he's playing in Geneva as well, right?
Yeah. And he might play Andy Murray.
Can't wait. I can't wait. Sorry, I don't want to come into this chat and immediately make it about Andy Murray. But,
come on. Everyone knows what they're signing up for. It's fine.
That's valid. Yeah, you come into a chat with me and you're going to get some Andy chat. But
it's all right.
If it happens, guys, I'm going to get emotional. I genuinely will, because it will probably be the last time they play each other, right? So, I just need a first round win for him. I need a first round win. Otherwise, I'll break down crying that we came that close again. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Is that is next week, right, Geneva? Is that next week? That starts on Monday. Okay. All right. I start my new job literally that week as well. So I'm kind of like, oh God, if I miss Andy versus Novak because I'm at my new job, then
You
the
quit.
temptation will be. Yeah, I'm not. The temptation is there to just get fired.
That's the end. 2 days in.
Yeah, I mean, a start is a mean to go on, right? Listen, I will call in sick for Andy, just so you're all aware. I would do that. So,
Obviously, yeah, that's a good use for sick days, surely.
yeah, I feel like that's kind of the case. Have we like discussed like who is going to win Rome? Like who is going to win it at this point? Do you guys?
I mean, it's
like if we're being honest.
If we're being honest, definitely Zverev.
Yeah.
He has played very well. Like, yeah, I mean, if like objectively speaking, it's frustrating to say, but because of all the history that comes with him. But I do think he's found his form. I don't know.
But Ghosty pointed out that Jarry's head-to-head with Zverev is 2-4, and both his wins were on outdoor play. So there is a chance.
All right. Well, we'll see. Again, I haven't really watched like too much of these 2 weeks. I don't really know how much these guys or how well these guys have been playing. So, I mean, obviously well enough to reach the semi-finals. So, I don't know. I did kind of expect Tommy Paul to win this. I don't know. I haven't watched too much of these players, but I just had in my head that Tommy Paul would probably win. But that might have been influenced by Matthew McConaughey tweeting about it.
Well, don't close your eyes on this one yet because it's a break point.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it could still be Tommy Paul in that final against Zverev.
Yeah, it could. And this is one of these matches that I feel like, when Tommy Paul hit that passing shot, I was like, that could be the turning moment, and it could be.
Yeah,
we'll see.
No, I think both of us were saying before the match that we sort of expected Jarry to win that, but I don't know if that's partly because we both watched him beat Tsitsipas, and that performance was really quite impressive.
No, fair, yeah, fair. So he was very good in that match. It was a 3-setter, wasn't it? So I didn't catch too much of it, but Tsitsipas played well in that match, or
I would say mostly. He threw it away a bit at the end for me, but in general, I think it was a pretty good contest.
No, fair. Okay, so yeah, because I mean, Tsitsipas has been playing very well this play season, so to beat him, it must be the case. And yeah, he has broken, right?
Yes.
So
I was about to say, it's this first break of the match coming in a very timely moment.
Yeah.
Right when he needs it. So could we be here for another hour?
We could.
Trying to plan your life and your evenings out as a tennis fan is just impossible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Impossible.
So when your friends are like, "Oh, how long will the tennis take?" An hour and a half.
Especially if you're planning to watch a match that's like last in the schedule, and somebody asks you want to go out at 7, it's like, I don't know. There might be a tennis match at 7, or it might be at 11.
Yeah, God's sake. How do we feel about the 2 weeks Masters events? Are we feeling them? Are we? I don't know anybody who's a fan of them, but
I don't like them.
You know.
I just don't.
No.
I think it's just so long. It's just I get tired of him. It's the summertime. The Northern Hemisphere, obviously, it has a lot of tennis. Like you just start in like clay court, and then just back to back Roland Garros, Wimbledon, and then like, immediately starting like hit the ground running in North America with 2 Masters. Yeah. And then the U.S. Open, almost like it's not too long of a wait between the Wimbledon and the U.S. Open. Is like 5 weeks tops. So it's just too much.
Yeah. What about you, Kira? Are you a fan?
I'm in exactly the same boat. It just feels like they're all sort of merging into one at the moment for me. I mean, wasn't there like we have a day between Madrid and Rome in terms of the men's finishing on the Sunday and the women's starting on the Tuesday? It just that feels a bit mad to me. I don't think the 2 weeks really suits anyone very much, but certainly doesn't seem to suit the players, which I think is the most important thing.
Yeah, for sure. It's not going to be the case for the entire season, is it? It's not every single Masters. It's only
I think their plan is, except for this is where the plan is absolutely bonkers, because we obviously had Monte Carlo, who is they're just their own thing. They just do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And then come to Cincinnati and Canada. Cincinnati Cincinnati will be a 2-week Masters event, starting regularly as the other Masters have, I believe on Wednesday, Tuesday, and then finishing on a Sunday. But Canada is going to be the complete outcast in this. Every year you're going to have to be wondering. It will probably finish on a Wednesday.
Oh, really?
And on Olympic years, it will be a week Masters only. So it will not be a 96 player draw. So it's going to be absolute madness. It's like a free for all. You never know what you're going to get. It's going to be crazy.
That is so strange. Why would it finish on a Wednesday? I don't understand.
This is exactly the point, because I think they needed to negotiate the space, which is very, very small, between Washington and Wimbledon and the U.S. Open, and the U.S. Open was not going to budge. Like, they're not going to change their dates, and that was like very little time for the scheduling. There was a scheduling that made sense, but it wasn't favorable for Cincinnati, and they obviously couldn't win much of a. They didn't have much leverage on that one, let's just say, and kind of got a bit of the short end of the stick, and gonna have to keep an eye open for Olympic years, because it's gonna be a 1-week Masters event.
That's mad. Wow.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting process. Like how you're mentioning like that in Canada, you're like, Audrey's like, nah, no, not loving it at all. I mean, will it be a better option than what's happening with the other ones? I don't know. I guess we'll see. Maybe we'll enjoy it. Maybe we'll enjoy it finishing on a Wednesday.
Something, I suppose.
Yeah.
Also, Canada always gets the short end of the stick as well in the Olympic years, regardless, because every player decides to skip that event anyways, because it's the week after. Even more so when they are playing on different surfaces, as it is the case this year. So
yeah,
of course, yeah, absolutely.
You'll probably get Ben Shelton, but that might be it.
It'd be so weird to play the French Open and then. Well, actually, I mean, Wimbledon comes in between, right? Before the Olympics. But I mean, and it happened in the 2012 Olympics, when obviously Wimbledon came along, and then the Olympics were right after. But yeah, I don't know. I still think it's going to be really weird to be like, oh, there's Rafa like playing the French Open. It's his last time, but kind of technically not if he goes to the Olympics. It's like, oh, this is his last time on chat. Well. Actually, no, it's not really.
Yeah.
We'll probably see it in a few months.
Yeah, it'll be a bit awkward when they do like the big ceremony on Philippe Chatrier, and they're like, I will never see you here again. And then we literally see him there a month later playing the same court.
Coming back in a few months. Never mind. It's all right. It's a bit awkward. It's like, not to make it about Andy, but it's like when Andy retired in 2019 Australian Open, and then walked on court 2 years later as an active player. But never mind. Big emotional video. Oh,
yeah. When you go to a party and then they say goodbye to everybody, and then you come back 15 minutes later and say, "Oh, I forgot my wallet."
Exactly the same thing.
Yeah. I'm back for another few years. Never mind. As we're talking, it does look like is Tommy Paul going to win? Yeah, he's 15-0 up. Yeah. He's really turned this set around.
Yeah. So the stats that just showed up in Tennis TV is that Paul has won 24 baseline points to 15 from Jarry in this set. So he's definitely being able to hold the baseline a lot better.
Okay. It would be quite strange to have one of these guys. Like, and I'm fully supportive of them, of the winning a Masters title, but it would be pretty random. Both these names would be pretty random, wouldn't it? I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. If either of them, if either of them ever watch this back, I promise you, I don't mean that disrespectfully in any way. But It'd be pretty random, wouldn't it? Is that okay to say? Is this
Yeah, we were talking earlier about these sort of tournaments where you get 4 semi-finalists that you maybe weren't expecting to be here, and whether we enjoy those kinds of tournaments or not. But I think for these two, it's like they've been having good seasons. Maybe Jarry, not always, but mostly they've sort of both been having good seasons. But you still don't necessarily expect to see them in a Masters final.
Yeah. I think at the heart of that is like I don't know. I think I like them enough for me to want to see more tournaments that do have like more random people. But like just a big part of me misses like the consistency. Do you know what I mean? Of like the really top players. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, you know, obviously we've got to be realistic with like, you know, Alcaraz and Sinner, and like, you know, we can't be expecting them to kind of replicate what Djokovic and Nadal did, for example. But yeah, I don't know. It feels like we're entering this year where we have these big names, but they're maybe not gonna. And they're still young. They're still young enough to, you know, obviously develop that kind of consistent element to their game to enable them to reach the latter stages of these events more often. But I don't know. I feel like, you know, maybe they're going to be like the next, like they're obviously the next big names, but maybe they're not going to be as consistent in reaching the stage of the big events as maybe Djokovic and Nadal were, and that's okay. That's all right. Just takes some while to get used to, right?
Yeah.
It's like this is a new normal now, so I think we're all kind of getting used to that, which is fine. It's okay.
Yeah. I suppose we've had this in the women's game for a few years now. If we look at things like, it's a pretty arbitrary one, but if you look at the Wimbledon winners on the women's tour for the last 10 years or whatever, it's all just loads of different names, right? That you're not always expecting, and you just have all these different champions. And I think that takes some getting used to. And obviously there's a lot of criticism about a lack of consistency in the last few years on the women's tour, but I think it's definitely possible that that's what we should expect to see in the next few years on the men's tour. And I think it's just, you know, for some people that really doesn't work for them. But I think, you know, when you have those periods of real dominance for a long time, I think it's quite refreshing to have a little bit of time where you don't know who's going to win tournaments. You've got a lot of people in the mix. You've got some really great top 20 matchups happening week on, week out. I think it's nice to have that sort of, to have both.
Yeah, to have that mix, right? I think Jake saying that you like the chaos in the chat.
I love the chaos. I can't lie. Jake's got me.
Got you red. Yeah. I think I agree, and like it's also just one of the things where like, you know, it marks like the passage of time, right? It marks a change of eras. You know, we were in that period where we had loads of consistency, and that was a phenomenal shot. I don't know if you guys were watching that.
Yeah.
That was outrageous from Jarry there. That was
like passing shot.
I love that. That was one of those shots where, like, you know, when you play with them, like, I don't know if either of you guys play tennis at all, but like when you play tennis, you always try and like always have in your head what you would like to like replicate. Do you know what I mean? And like when somebody hits like a drop shot at that area of the court, you always like run up and you're like, I want to hit a shot like that. That was very impressive. That was good. And only makes it 30-15. I mean, he's still down in this game, but you know what? Never mind. But yeah, I think I quite like the chaos too. I'm gonna adopt the enjoyment of the chaos. I think I'll just
if you embrace it, you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. I feel like that's a positive. It's a positive kind of attitude to have. Tommy Paul serves to take us to 6-5. Still on serve here.
He's done so well to turn this around though, because he really wasn't playing sort of any aggressive tennis for a little while in this match, and there was a real lack of concentration, we thought, at times. So he's done really well to get back in it at all.
Yeah. And he's been playing well from what I've seen, especially in this set. He was playing phenomenally right up until Tommy Paul hit that passing shot. I was like, this is over. And then, Tommy Paul rips that one-hander. And it was a one-handed backhand, wasn't it? One-handed backhand. He's a two-handed backhand player. I love a bit of that. Very much here for the flick passing shot winners.
Yeah.
And do either just that on a side note, do either of you guys play tennis yourselves, or are you guys tennis players, or?
I'm not a tennis player, which
No.
often surprises people as to why I'm even a fan. But no, I don't play tennis. I do dabble in a bit of table tennis, but not tennis.
Oh, table tennis.
Mm.
I love playing a wee bit of table tennis.
Me too.
I'm terrible at it though. Terrible at it. I find it quite addicting though. I find it quite addicting to like.
Yeah.
But
It is.
I'm very, very poor at it. Very, very poor. Why not tennis for you? Like, why not actual tennis? Yeah, is it just not something that you've never fancy trying it, or?
I always enjoyed it sort of when I was at secondary school. That was sort of like my choice and stuff. But in terms of outside it, I've just never really got into it. I sort of play occasionally recreationally at my local like park court, but not properly.
No, fair. And what about you, Andre? I have it in my head that you are a player, or am I?
I used to play a whole lot more, but I'm kind of debating whether if I want to play this summer again, but it's just so expensive.
Yeah, entirely valid. I've just moved to a new city here in the UK, so I'm trying to trying to see what kind of like clubs are around and stuff like that. So, but I think I have a feeling it's like more common here than maybe it is over yonder. That you can find a few like kind of like free public courts now and then here in the UK. So yeah, I'm trying to see like different like this makes me sound like a sad sack, but I'm like I spent like a good like half hour earlier today being like, how can I find people to play tennis with? So I was like scrolling online, being like, is there apps for this? Can I find friends to play tennis with? And I'm sure I will, but yeah. No, I get it. Like, and sometimes I'm really up for playing as well. Sometimes I get like really into it, and then sometimes I'm just like, oh god. The worst is when you're really wanting to play, and then you start playing, and it's not your day. It's not your day. For tennis.
No.
Oh god, I've made a mistake.
I've debated getting a super cheap racket and just like carry it in my backpack just so that I can break it if I am really angry.
Yes, absolutely.
Just gonna go to Walmart, buy like a $15 racket, and just it's not my day. I'm just gonna like blast the racket on the floor and just I don't feel bad about this one.
Yeah, I'm not proud. I'm not proud of the fact that I have smashed. I would say at least 3 rackets in my life. And I mean, I'm not somebody who has like a lot of money or anything like that. So, but like it feels good for about 10-15 minutes, and then an hour later you're like, oh god, mistakes have truly been made. I need to go and invest in another tennis racket at some point. It's not looking good. But yeah, no, I'm trying to motivate myself to really like play a wee bit more, because and like watching tennis really makes me want to try playing it as well. Just because that was okay. Yeah, that was good.
Where did you move to, by the way?
What was that?
Where did you move to?
I stay in Manchester now.
Nice.
Yeah, Manchester here in the UK. But I technically moved country because I came from Scotland. So, and yeah, I've moved down here for a period of time, doing like basically like an apprenticeship with a company here that is 18 months. So I'm here for 18 months and then going somewhere else possibly, or staying here if I love it. But you know.
You're going somewhere else because it would be remote work, or you can just be sent somewhere around?
No, just because like I would stay here. I'm going to be staying here for 18 months, but then at the end of that, there's no guaranteed job. So yeah, that's what they did say. Like in the interview, they were like, unfortunately, we can't guarantee you a position after this, but obviously, you know, if a position comes up around the time that your apprenticeship finishes, and obviously, you know, it would work out well for you, but. Yeah, we can't guarantee that. So definitely just keeping that in mind. And like after a year or so, I haven't actually started yet. I start like on Tuesday, as we said earlier. I start next week, right on the time when Andy might play no work. But yeah, I'm I'm gonna like do the 18 months and then like see what happens after that. I'm hoping that like another opportunity comes up at some point.
I'm sure it will. It usually does when you've got that long.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that's one of the good things as well. There's not many apprenticeships that are like 18 months. Most of them,
No.
in my experience, it's like a year or even 6 months. So
Yeah.
18 months gives me a good time to like learn what's going on and what's happening and stuff. So sorry, I've tuned out of the actual match of tennis that we're supposed to be commentating on. It says, yeah, he's trying to take it to the tie break, which I reckon he will, surely.
Yeah. We said we wanted a tie break to liven this up. So
Yeah, absolutely. I do love a tie break.
Just a point away, second serve.
Not rally for it. Here we go. Yep, tiebreak it is.
Yeah.
I love a tiebreak. I love a tiebreak. I know some people absolutely despise it, and a lot of the time, the player who's been like the strongest player in the set doesn't win it. But I highly enjoy a tiebreak. I think it's
There's
like a
a-
shoot.
There's a format that I really like to play on video games is a best of it's like a best of 3 of just tie breaks.
Just tie breaks. Yes. Yeah.
I wonder if tennis is just gonna one day just ditch the games and just go like
And just play
best of
tiebreaks.
best of 7.
Do you know what? Maybe there's a case to be made for that. I'm pretty sure, in my experience, that's something similar to how squash works. I think squash works a little bit like that. I think in squash you play to like 11 points.
I think all racket sports, like the game system is extremely unique.
Yeah, no, for sure it is. Yeah, and that's obviously why we love it. But yeah, there is an aspect to it. I'm like, I think the thing with like tennis is that I think sometimes, as you guys were saying, like, not much was happening in that set. Like tennis sometimes takes a while to get going. Does that make sense? Like, whereas like if you skip right to the action, like a tiebreak, do you know what I mean? Then it's like immediately like, okay, here we go. So like this might be controversial, but like parts of me in like the last like year or so, as I've been really busy in life and stuff like that, like parts of me have been kind of going towards being like, maybe best of 3 sets in majors for the men wouldn't be too bad. Is that controversial to say? Because up until this point, I was like, oh, absolutely no, best of 5. It's like, it's for the majors, it makes it special, blah blah blah. But then, like, just as a fan, like, I guess with like life kind of lifing a wee bit, like sitting down to try and watch a best of 3 set match, it just so rarely happens for me. That I'm like, maybe a best of 3 would just be better. Be better as a fan. I don't know. I never thought we'd get to that point, but
Yeah. I mean, if you're being real, just like remembering those big matches or big 3 matches, which is always like 4, 5, 6 hour long matches, and it's an entire day. It literally is your entire day that you're dedicating to this.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, as a tennis fan, you have to kind of make tennis your life in a way that I feel like maybe like other, like I feel like other sports maybe aren't that way, but yeah, if you're a big tennis fan, you kind of like, it does just take over like your days off and your and that's obviously about like planning and stuff like that. Like, if I planned my life better, maybe I would be able to watch more tennis. But
no, I think you've definitely got a point, because if you think, like you say, about other sports, if I think of other sports that I watch, like I watch a football match of my team like once a week.
Yeah.
That's very different. You watch, maybe, I don't know, if you're into golf, that's like one tournament every few weeks and it's just a few days and mostly at the weekends. If you're into I don't know, Formula One, you've got weekends off and you get a lot of breaks and stuff. If you're a tennis fan, there is always tennis going on somewhere in the world with someone that you know of and like and maybe want to watch, and it definitely takes up an awful lot of time that I don't think other sports fans would necessarily realize how much time it takes up.
Yeah. But by the way, don't look now. It's 4-1 for Paul.
It is. Yeah. It does look like we could be heading to a third set. So
he had sorry.
We'll see. Who knows?
Yeah, Paul had a 2-mini break lead, and then Jarry got one of those back. But
Oh, did he make that? He
Definitely a
did.
long shot. Whoa, great
Yeah.
shot.
That was a fantastic shot.
Yeah.
Big fan. Big fan of that passing shot.
I'm not sure which stream you guys using, but now on Tennis TV, and they're doing a lot of the ground level camera.
Yeah.
Angle.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
do, yeah.
I like those sometimes, but it's been a lot of that now.
Yeah, it's people who are like, oh yeah, no, I'd love that all the time. It's like, what, really? Like, you can't see the other side of the court. Like, you can't see where that ball's landing. Like, why do you want that all the time? I don't quite understand. Like, yeah, it gives you a better sense.
I love how the appreciation that a lot of professional tennis players, I seem to remember Andy Roddick commenting on this, is their justification for this, that you can see like just how much net clearance the ball has, and I'm like, well, I don't care. It's like if you show a replay of the net clearance, then I can see it, but then I kind of prefer to see like where are you placing the shot. Doesn't that make more sense?
Yeah, I feel like that's it's a kind of, I guess maybe the idea of like options for camera angles would be quite interesting. Like I guess like if you did want to give an option to people watching to watch it from whatever angle they want, that would be I guess that would be something that I'd be up for, more options for everyone, but I don't even know if that would be possible. But yeah, I do just think that this is like the camera angle we've got right here. That the typical one is probably the generally the best one.
Yeah,
that is outrageous return from Jarry here. Did that go in?
Yeah,
it did. Yeah, so that makes it 5-3. Yeah, sorry, I've got the bottom of my screen's kind of blurred slightly, so I couldn't see the score there. Yeah, that was outrageous. Yeah, I don't know. I like when like the production crews of tennis do like try out new things like with camera angles and stuff like that. It's like mix it up a wee bit, but if you're going to be doing it a lot, just dial it back a wee bit.
They could limit it a bit. I think for me, I don't mind it occasionally. I think it's a bit fun to see something from a different angle. It's like, oh, but then if it's happening all the time, I'm like, oh well, now I can't see what's actually going on.
Yeah. As we say that, we see Paul getting to set points here.
Yeah.
Does look like he's going to make the full comeback here. Well,
yeah,
the third at least.
And he deserves. I think he deserves a third set here. He's done so well to turn this around. He had zero momentum at one point in the second set. So the way he's turned it around, I think he's earned that third set.
Yeah, I would concur. And that is
that's outrageous.
That is outrageously good. Wow. Yeah, and there we have it. I mean, you would think maybe he would go on and take the match, but I don't know. I wouldn't carry it now.
Yeah. All I know is that I will not be here to see it with you guys. I gotta jump out. It's been a great stream for me. I was kind of not expecting. I was expecting like a solid like 6-3, 6-4 win at some point. But here we are. It's tennis.
I remember. I like when I was joining. I was like, oh yeah, like I might just be here for 20 minutes. But I'll sit and watch this final set and see how it goes.
Yeah. All right, guys. Take care.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
So, who are you supporting in this final set?
Oh, supporting's tough. I like them both for different reasons. If I'm thinking objectively, I'm going to want whoever wins this match to win the final, right? So if I'm thinking objectively who I think's got the best chance of that, I'm probably going Jarry. How about you?
Oh, do you think? Really?
I don't know. I've not got a good feeling about Tommy Paul against Rome.
Poor Tommy. He's just brought the whole thing back. He's just managed to grab a second set out of from being a breakdown. Kira's just like, I don't really want him to win.
I really like Tommy Paul. Please, Tommy ever sees this? Please, Tommy. I enjoy your tennis friend.
You hearing that, Tommy? You hearing that? You're gonna be blacklisted. Yeah, I'll go. I think I'll go Tommy Paul actually, just because I think he's maybe feeling it this week. He's maybe seen that Matthew McConaughey tweet. He's getting a little bit amped up a wee bit, and he's thinking to himself, have the support of Oscar winning after Matthew McConaughey on my side here. I think this could be the week that I win a Masters 1000 title. So I'm going to go with him in that case. I'm going to say that he's going to win this. With the momentum, I think he's going to win it 6-2.
I've just looked at the head-to-head, and actually, Tommy Paul has a 100% head-to-head against Alexander.
Oh, does he? How much have they played, though? Are we...
Twice.
Okay. I mean,
so, you know.
Well, all right.
Maybe we're not as excited about that. And it's both on outdoor hard as well, but
right, fair enough. So very different circumstances, but
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. And to Terry, never let it be said I'm sitting on the fence. I'm saying I like them both, but I am backing Jarry in this one. I'm going to go.
Yeah. You're not.
7-5.
There we go. Okay. All right. Tommy Paul is a better mover than Zverev. That is a controversial opinion in the chat there.
Like
do you think so? Do you think he is? Really?
Maybe he's got the capability to be, because he's got good movement. But has he always got good movement? I wouldn't say it's a constant for him. Tommy.
Yeah, I think as maybe this is bad to say. Tommy's catching strays here, but I think he looks maybe a little bit clumsy sometimes out there. I don't know if that's maybe that's bad to say. I don't know. As clumsy as a multi-millionaire professional athlete can look on a tennis court. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would concur with that one. I don't really, like, as bad as it sounds, I don't know if I rate either of these guys' chances against Zverev, just because Zverev is just, I mean, he is just very, very good on clay at that moment as well. Who's going to win the French Open this year? Who's taking it?
I think it's really. I'm going with a first-time Slam winner. I think.
Okay. Oh, first time Slam winner. Wow.
I think it will be, because I'm not seeing Djokovic. I'm not seeing Sinner. I don't think Sinner's going to play. I'm not seeing Alcaraz. I'm not seeing Medvedev. I'm not seeing Rafael Nadal, I'm afraid. So I think it will be a first-time winner. As to who, I think it's really hard to tell.
As long as you're not about to say Casper Ruud. Not thinking Casper Ruud, please.
Are you on the anti-Casper Ruud?
I think he's the nicest guy. I think he's a nice guy. I think he's lovely. I just don't see him winning a major title. Unfortunately, I just don't. No, not ever. I just don't think it's really gonna happen. And come on, and I've said this many times, Kira, that I just. Are you a fan of him? Are you a fan of him?
I think he's great.
You're a fan.
I wouldn't go as far as to say, he's not my favorite player.
Okay. That's not, I don't feel quite as bad. But yeah, I don't know. Like I've said so many times, I just don't like. Are we really gonna go from long list of like Nadal, Djokovic, Wawrinka, Nadal, Djokovic to Casper Ruud? Like, is that? I'm sorry. Like, is that the stage of men's tennis that we're at? And maybe it is. Like, maybe it is. Like, maybe that is. But yeah, I just feel like Alcaraz, who Terry's pointing out in the chat there. I think Alcaraz. I think Sinner, but unfortunately, those two guys are looking a little bit injured right now, and maybe not at their best at the moment. So I don't know if they will be ready. For
that is what I'm basing my predictions on, is that I don't think, from what we've seen little bits of like Carlos training, I still think that forearm's going to be causing him an issue. And is he going to be match fit enough to sort of compete at the higher levels? I'm not sure. I completely agree that if he wasn't injured and there was no injury at all, I would absolutely be backing Carlos to win it. But
I think I would be too. He's actually, I did see somebody posting, I think he is the bookie's favorite. Not that says much, not that says much at all, but I think most people are thinking that he, if well enough, could well go all the way. Am I right? He's reached the French Open final, has he? Has he, or am I misremembering that? I might be misremembering that. I know he
I
played
don't-
Djokovic, right? Or he played Djokovic or Nadal at the French Open, and maybe that was a semi-final or quarter-final.
I think it was a semi-final he lost to Djokovic.
Right.
Last year.
No, only semi-final. There we go. Thank you, chat. There we go. Keeping us right there. Yeah, but I mean, he is very good on clay though. So yeah. We'll see. But yeah, first time winners. If it's not Casper Ruud, who are you putting in the mix to pick up a first major title at the French Open? Who are you thinking?
I do think Zverev's in a good position.
Yes,
this year, to be honest. Again,
no.
Objectively,
yes,
I do think he's in a good position. I think, well, certainly before Tsitsipas lost to Jarry, I was thinking Tsitsipas's best tennis on clay is very, very capable of winning Roland Garros, but it's whether he can keep that level.
It is wild when you think that Tsitsipas was a set away from winning Roland Garros.
I remember it very well.
Yeah, were you rooting for him in that match? Were you wanting him to win?
I think I was. Yeah, I think I was going through a bit of a phase there where I was like, surely Djokovic can't win all of them all the time.
Sure,
so I think I was probably rooting for Tsitsipas there.
Yeah. 2 sets up and then loses in 5.
Yeah,
I think he's played his way into form this clay season, because before this clay season I would not have been thinking Tsitsipas was in with a chance at all. But as it is, I mean, I could see him. Going quite far. Like outside names, random names though. Like, I mean, I love
Swaner's pick. Swaner's pick is very out there. Wow.
Yeah, that's an intriguing one.
I mean, I wouldn't be rooting for it myself, but
I don't really foresee that happening either. I also feel like the French Open maybe isn't the kind of major. I feel like if a random name is going to win a major, it's going to happen at the US Open rather than at the French Open. I feel like the French Open, it's just you've got your clay court players who do well on clay typically, and one of them might do well, and then obviously you've got the really big names who are good on all surfaces, and one of them might win it, but anyone else, that's unlikely, isn't it? It's not, it's just such a physical surface that you it's somewhat unlikely, I feel. But I mean, I guess we'll see. Taylor Fritz has been playing well on clay. I know that.
He has. I shouldn't laugh. He has. He really has.
Oh wow, you're laughing. Poor Taylor.
I don't mean to laugh as soon as Taylor Fritz is mentioned. I assure you, but
you don't rate him. Is he your?
He might be my Casper Ruud.
Casper Ruud, is that right? You don't rate.
Once again, I have nothing against Taylor Fritz. I think he's very nice.
Yeah.
And I actually became a bit of a fan of him in a certain way with how he responded to the French Open crowds last year, because I thought I thought he dealt with that so well. I was really impressed with him. So I do sort of root for him nowadays, like I didn't before. But in terms of a slam winner, I don't see that. I almost think he'd be.
You don't see that at all, do you? Interesting. Yeah, you know what? Fair play to him, because I'm not gonna lie. A few years back, I was like, how is this guy a top 20 player? I'm sorry, because I just did not rate his game at all. With somebody like Casper Ruud, for example, I'm like, oh, he's not going to win a major. But I look at his game objectively; it's a good game. It's a good game that he's got. Very consistent, very good, but a major winner, but with Taylor Fritz, I went through a period where I was like, how can he doesn't even play good tennis? And maybe Taylor Fritz just catching strays out here. We can't really be just sliding players on stream here, or maybe we can. Maybe that's part of talking tennis. But John's currently thinking this is the last time.
It's all right. John's not here this evening for once. It's very rare.
He's not moderating behind the scenes. Yeah, well, when he watches this back, he's thinking to himself, maybe not, maybe not this guy anymore. But yeah, I don't really see that happening either. And yeah, just generally speaking, I don't know. I don't really. I mean, hey, who knows? Maybe Tommy Paul, maybe Nicolas, Jarry, maybe one of these guys can win the French Open.
It's possible.
No, is it?
It is objectively, it's possible.
Yeah, sure. It's like, I mean, objectively, like you or I could win the French Open.
Yes, yeah.
Like anyone, French Open. I'm gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna very briefly have to jump away and get my laptop charger. So do bear with me.
No
I'm gonna be back in one momento. Uno momento. I'm learning Spanish.
While we wait for Scott's return, we'll just quickly, we've obviously been talking about Roland Garros a lot, but we'll just quickly zoom back into Rome briefly. And both have sort of held with minor chances for the other player, I would say, having watched it out of the corner of my eye, but nothing too troublesome for either of them on serve so far. 30-15 for Jarry now. I think that's just gone wide though, so that'll be 30-all. So a bit of an outside chance here for Tommy Paul on the Jarry serve at 1-all. And yes, Warner definitely. I think if he's fully healthy, I 100% agree. He's the favourite. He'd be my favourite. He'd be my pick. I just don't foresee that happening. I don't know why. I worry about him really wanting to play the French Open and sort of rushing that recovery a little bit, because that's what I feel like happened because he wanted to play in Spain. And I'm certainly not taking anything away from Rublev. I thought Rublev did very well to beat him. Other people couldn't that week. But it was clear that his forehand wasn't quite at the level we know it can be. So there's sort of two sides to that one. But yeah, he'd be my favourite as well if he's healthy.
Is somebody saying Rublev?
No, we were talking about Rublev from a few weeks ago. I don't think we've talked about him in terms of Roland Garros quite yet.
I don't like. I love Rublev. But I don't know. I just don't know. For me, sorry, you're all getting a view of my living room as I plug my laptop. There we go. That's better.
That's all right.
Yeah. Sorry, I know. Again, like, is Rublev gonna win a major? What do you think?
For me, the main thing that needs to change for him at the moment is a little bit of mentality rather than in his game. That sort of, perpetual quarterfinalist mentality, I think, is going to be really hard to break free of. But when he can, and he sort of manages to get to that first semi-final,
sure,
that could be enough for him to go on and win it. I think he's got the tennis.
Yeah, I would probably agree. I think he's missing a tiny thing. Like, I don't know what it is, but like maybe a tiny, like, 'cause he's got a very attacking game. Does he have the variety? Does he have like the creativity needed to really win a major? I don't know.
It probably doesn't have the creativity to beat the top players if he met them in the final. But if he managed to get the right sort of draw, if that makes sense, I feel like, if he's not got Alcaraz or Sinner in the final, then I feel like he's got a pretty good chance.
No, valid. That's a fair take. Yeah. How are you feeling about one player who I always thought was going to win the French Open? Team's retiring. How are we feeling about that? Were you a fan?
I was, not. I don't want to claim to be an avid part of the team fandom by any means, but sort of certainly the last couple of years, particularly in his comeback, I've really wanted to see him come back and do well, and I think that's the same with a lot of tennis fans. Is you sort of I've not necessarily watched all his matches, especially when he's been in smaller tournaments, but I've been sort of looking at scores and seeing him losing. I mean, not again, got one Dominic team. So I think it's a real shame, but I totally understand the decision, and I do think it's probably the right one for him at this point. It feels like there's not much progress.
Yeah, I think almost mentally, I feel like in the last few months he is almost already kind of checked out. Do you know what I mean? He's almost been like, I'm ready to move on to whatever is next. In a way that I feel like if you compare the two, like for example, like Andy Murray, like he hasn't been able to accept it. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like Andy really kind of has been struggling to accept it, and to the extent I'm pretty sure he said something like that, like way back a good few years ago now, like around the 2019-2020 time when he was considering like that this could be it for him. He was saying, "Oh, I don't know what I'd do without tennis." Do you know what I mean? I don't know what I would do without tennis. And like if you view that alongside obviously like Dominic Thiem has been, and I'm sure there was parts of Thiem right now that is still being like, "Oh, am I making the right decision?" But he said at the start of the year, "Oh, if things don't improve, I'm going to call it a day." And then very quickly, like a few months in, he was like, "I don't see things improving at all. I think this is it." Do you know what I mean? And yeah, absolutely, more fuel to him, whatever he goes on to do. But it's interesting that you see Thiem as, because I still see Thiem as like a mid to late 20s player, but he's like what, like 31 now, 32, but it's still quite young for players now to be retiring. Do you know what I mean? So it's sorry, I'm just reading Ghosts.
It's Ghosts.
When he'll take back your land from the English. Wow, that we're going political now, or are we going rebellion here? It's just a chat that we're talking.
Oh, absolutely. It's always the way with Ghost. And also, I must just say, Ghost, I cannot tell you how bad your timing was earlier, because I really do think it was within about 2 minutes of you leaving the stream because Tommy Paul was about to lose that he turned it around.
Yeah.
Ghost left us, and it was genuinely within 2 minutes. Tommy Paul was like ready to go.
Yeah, ready. Yeah, absolutely. What's the score at now? Sorry, we're not looking. Oh, yeah, it's got break points.
I'm afraid he has got break points again, Jarry. So it might be to do with you, Ghost, because you've just come back and Jarry is back on top again. But just
that's a great defensive lob, but Paul puts it away. We'll see. That kit of Tommy Paul's is very highlighter, isn't it? Look at that. He looks like a yellow highlighter. Sorry, I know that's not real. It's not really.
That's what I said earlier.
He does. I'm gonna miss him on a cold night, aren't I?
I quite like it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I'd say I like it, but it's certainly something. Certainly memorable. And you know what? Maybe that's what we need. Maybe we just need a memorable kit.
I was saying earlier, I've seen a lot of the like kits are being released for Roland Garros at the moment, and I'm just shocked by how much orange there is for an orange clay tournament. I don't understand that. I don't want the players to be blending in to the clay, particularly.
Yeah, no, that's entirely valid. I mean, all that could easily be helped if they just changed back to blue clay, right? If they went blue clay again. Did you watch? Did you watch? What tournament was it? Was it Madrid? Am I right? I think it was. Did you watch Madrid when it was blue clay a few years ago?
I don't know that I did. Now that I think about it, I feel like I probably caught a bit of it, but I don't remember watching it as avidly as I watch tennis now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was a fan of it. I know a lot of players weren't. I know a lot of players were moody and stuff like that with it, and that's why they ended up changing it. But I'm not gonna lie. I think I was a fan. I think I was a fan of it. And also, if you go and watch some of the matches, right, go watch like a highlight of, I don't know, the final, which was Federer and Berdych, I think it was. Like, go watch, and like you can see the ball so much easier. Like you can, you just object. As a fan, it's just much better. And so what I'm saying is that Roland Garros need to go back to blue clay. They need to embrace the blue. It will never happen. It'll never happen. There's too
No, it won't.
well, it'll never happen. There's too set in their ways, aren't they? But yeah, it's interesting. I do want some interesting. I want some interesting kits this year, and I feel like, not gonna lie, I think really the last fully memorable men's kit for me was the zebra print Nike kit that Nike brought out, and I remember Federer and Nadal playing in it, and that was like 2017, I think it was.
Yeah.
2017, maybe 2018. That for me was the last really truly memorable men's kit for me.
Yeah,
I feel like nothing else has really kind of touched that.
The only other one that stands out to me, but not nearly as much, is TFO in the US Open. Would it be 2 years ago or 3 years ago? I don't even know. But the sort of swirls that TFO had, just specifically, I think he really, really pulled that one off. That one sticks in my mind as the most memorable one recently, but there's not really been much.
No, fair. No, that's a good. Yeah, no, that was a good comparison. And then obviously you have like Nadal, who brought back like the kind of the sleeveless, right? He went sleeveless again for a while, and those are iconic. So those are pretty good. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like men's kits are all just a bit dull these days. They don't really put much imagination into them. Like Djokovic has played in like the same red top for about on clay season for about three years now, and it's kind of getting to that point where we're like, right, come on guys, come on, give us something else. And going back to like retirements briefly, it feels like we are like, I'm like talking about like transition periods and transition like stages. It really does feel like we're in a transition phase in men's tennis, specifically in terms of like players, like moving on. Because like this year alone, like we're gonna have a long list of men's players calling it a day, right? Like relatively big names like Thiem, Nadal, Murray, like and that's not even mentioning like how long is Wawrinka gonna go on for? Is he gonna be calling it a day soon? Like is Monfils on the way out the door? Like when is he gonna call it? Like and I don't know, like it makes me a little sad. Yes, Schwartzman's going as well. As somebody pointed out in the chat there. I don't know. Like as much as it's good to see change. It's good for the it's good for the game. It's intrinsic to it, but I don't know. It really does feel like almost like the generation of tennis that I kind of. I mean, I say this, mate. I don't know what age you are, I don't know what age like you were watching tennis from, but for me, like I guess I grew up with like Berdych and Tsonga and stuff like that, and then they called it a day a few years ago, but. It feels like the last, like the generation, like just beneath them are now all retiring as well. Do you know what I mean?
No, I do. Yeah, I think I'm probably just too young for it. Do you know? Like, I'm 22, so I'm.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, Europe.
But I think.
Okay, all right.
The majority of people watching this will totally agree with you.
Sure.
In terms of and everything I see on Twitter at the moment, I think the majority of people who love tennis are really feeling that sort of that they're losing some sort of era that they're going to miss, even if they're excited for the next one. There's something about that nostalgia of what's sort of being lost at the moment.
Sure. Yeah, no, and I think that's I guess that's that kind of nostalgic element of players who haven't really been that relevant in the last few years. It breaks my heart to say that, but but they were still out there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you knew that you would still see them again at some point.
Exactly.
At some point, and maybe just realizing that nothing really goes on forever. You know what I mean? So So like who's like I believe this is the first time me and you have been on stream together, Kia. Like who's your player? Who's your or do
just
you not?
Really quickly before I tell you that, we have got a break point for Tommy Paul that we
do. Let's watch this. Let's have a look. And
But
saved though. Yeah, saved 2 all still.
oh
Yeah. As we go to juice here, but yeah, it's like who is your kind of who's your players?
yeah. So I was saying earlier, I'm really one of those who like I do just love tennis. So you could probably name like about 100 players to me, and I'd be like, yeah, I like them. Yeah, I like them. Yeah, I'm a fan of them. Yeah, I like them. I love so many of them. But in terms of like my players, I definitely grew up on I was purely just an Andy Murray fan when I was sort of
Of
between,
course, yes.
yeah, when I was, like really, really young and I didn't know much about tennis, and I probably only really watched Wimbledon and a bit of the French Open or whatever. It was just always Andy Murray, always in my house. So I've never lost that. But my players now are like Iga Swiatek on the women's side. I've loved for quite a few years now, and Alcaraz mainly on the men's. If we're talking like the big players, and then there's sort of plenty of others. I really like Hubie Hurkacz. I really like Petra Kvitova.
Yes.
That sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. So how are you feeling about Andy calling it there?
I still it's like I'm in denial with him, I think. If anything. I think part of me is almost I think we've seen so much good and so much not so good in the last few years from him that I think part of me still thinks there could be that good there. If there's just that extra, I don't know, something in a slam. I feel like he's still got the capability. But I also totally respect that you've got to reach a point.
You got to call it a day at some point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I feel the same. Yeah, I don't know. I think the more time has gone on, the more that like busted his Achilles in Miami. I was like, for God's sake, that
was horrible when he started hopping.
Yeah, it was not looking good for him. Yeah, and I kind of I kind of fall under the same kind of illusion, but also at the same time, I don't know. I think because of like the way his career has maybe been to a certain extent, I think like I'm getting to the point where I'm like, maybe I'm ready. Maybe I'm ready for him to retire. Like, this is there, like, as the biggest, like, I love him to death.
Yeah,
like, maybe I'm ready. Maybe I'm ready for this. Do you know what I mean? Like, although at the same time, I've also been thinking, I was like, who do I watch after that? Like, who do I tune in for? Like, who do I watch for? And like, I'm a big Novak fan. I'm a big Djokovic fan. So I mean, I will obviously watch him, but I mean, how long does he have left? And then do I watch Alcaraz? I do quite like him, but like, do I like him or not? Like, I don't know. Am I then going to become just one of these unbiased people who watches tennis like as an unbiased kind of person?
Jarry.
I don't understand that at all. I've never been able to understand that. Being able to watch and enjoy a sport without feeling kind of intrinsically attached to somebody in that sport, I just don't know if I can learn that art. I feel like it's an art to kind of separate yourself.
I'm like that. I'm very sort of all or nothing. So like I could watch a tennis match between two players that maybe I haven't really seen before, and I would find somebody to root for against all odds just because I have to. That's how sport works for me.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Like that is part of it. And I know, like, as somebody who, I kind of wanted to work in media in my career, and like in media is supposed to be objective and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, but no media is objective. Like, like nobody's actually objective, are they? So, and like, how can anybody like sit and watch sport just for the sport? I don't know. Like for me, sport is all about the characters that play it. You know what I mean? Scott, are you a Pavi G fan? Oh my gosh, jeez. Am I a Pavi G fan? Kira, are you a Pavi G fan? Are you?
I think fan is a really interesting word. Does
Pavi
G have fans? I thought he was the ultimate fan. Can he have fans? He doesn't have me as one of them anyway. I'll put my neck on the line and say I'm I'm not a Pavi G fan.
You're not a Pavi G fan. I'll say on stream right here. I've met him in person.
No way.
I have actually met him in person at Wimbledon. So I don't know if that is if that's acceptable to say, but I have met him.
Of course, it's acceptable to say you've met him. It gives you a unique perspective.
I don't know if it does. I don't know if it does with a unique perspective, or I don't know if people. I don't know. I don't know who's in the chat here. I don't know if we've got people who are very kind of think that he's very polarizing. I'm sure, and I'll say, but I also need to stress now that I've said that I have met him. I need to stress like I don't agree with a lot of his points. I really don't.
No.
I find him immensely entertaining. On Twitter. I just do. I just think he's outrageous. Like just outrageous. If you view Pavi G as a character, I think it makes it a lot more entertaining to consume. And obviously then you get into the point where it's like, oh, but some of his views are quite dangerous almost, and very damaging and stuff. And it's like, well, yes. So many people are like that though. Like so many people are like that. And I don't know, that doesn't make it any better. Terry's asking what he's like in person, actually.
Give us some insight
in person. I mean, I say I've met him, like, and I did meet him. I got me and my friend who I did my podcast with, Claire. We got a picture taken with him. We took photos, like, with, like, he'd been messaging a wee bit about us going to Wimbledon and stuff, and I'll say, like, he was nice. He was nice. Like he was a nice guy. He did say in person, and this, like he did say in person the word establishment. He did say establishment to us. So I can't remember what the reference was, but I'm not gonna lie, I got chills.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you? Goosebumps.
I got chills. It was a catchphrase. The establishment. I can't remember the exact sentence, but he did say the word out loud, and I was like, wow, that's actually a thing. That is a thing.
He knows what the people want from him.
Yeah, he knows what the people want. And I was actually speaking to a friend of mine who some people in chat might know. He's on tennis Twitter as well. I've actually moved to an area that's quite close to him. Joe Tennis. I don't know if people follow Joe. Joe doesn't tweet as much as he used to about tennis. But if you do look him up, I don't know if his tag is still Joe Tennis or not. He might have changed that too. But Joe and I were talking a little bit about Pavi G the other day. And Joe mentioned that he once said to him, "You play a character." He plays a character on Twitter. And Joe said to Pavi G, "You play a character, don't you?" And Pavi laughed. And I think that's part of it. I just think he's got such outrageous opinions that, like, I can't let myself believe that he believes every single one of those things, because it's just ridiculous. So if you do view it through a comedic lens, I find him very entertaining. Would I say I'm a fan of him? I certainly don't think so.
No,
I
think that's a bit far, isn't it?
And I think that, but part of it is because I think, like, would he say he's a fan of me? I don't think so. Like I certainly don't think so. Like, and all, yeah. I mean, also, like, yeah, I don't know. He's just a dude with just outrageous opinions that I think he says a lot and, like, ramps him up to like 100 to try and get, like, engagement a wee bit.
That's the whole of Twitter, though, isn't it? To be fair.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, and that's not a criticism of him. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I know he's got, like, ridiculous viewpoints. I know he has ridiculous viewpoints. And I know, just objectively, just ludicrous. I do laugh though. Do you not laugh? Do you not laugh when you see some of his stuff? Like the whole water bottle incident, which lasted days. It lasted days. He's probably still tweeting about it now.
Yeah, I couldn't watch the 15-minute video. I'm afraid it was.
To be honest, me neither. If Pavi's watching, I'm sorry, I haven't watched your 15-minute video yet. But it was 50-minute and then another, like 5 minutes after it.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
He does describe the water bottle that Djokovic got hit by as a missile at one point, which
I've seen that bit clipped. Yeah.
Yeah, quite impressive. Sorry, what's the actual tennis score at the moment?
Jarry has actually broken.
Let's see. Did we miss something else? I can't believe we were talking about Pavi G instead of the time.
I know, honestly.
Objectively, it's not looking good for us if we're talking about Pavi G instead of the
John leaves me in charge of a stream because he's got to work and he hears that all we've talked about is Pavi G.
We talked about Pavi.
Going to do well, but
that was an outrageous. Like, can I say that was an outrageous volley winner, wasn't it? From Jarry, that was crazy good. Kind of flicked that, very reactionary, and Jarry kind of really propelling himself potentially towards the finish line here at 30 love up, at 40 love up. I think this could be it, right?
Yeah, I think so. I did wonder whether he'd find something in this third set because his tennis overall has been a bit better, but
yeah, it's kind of found it. Yeah, just to wrap up that. Sorry, we've spoken far too much about him.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think I would say I'm a fan of PUBG.
No, that's a good wrap up.
I don't think I would say I'm a fan of him. I'm curious now because like there's like people on tennis Twitter as a community. Here, have you ever met somebody from tennis Twitter? Have you ever met somebody
like in real life? No.
Yeah, I know. It sounds weird to say, right? Yeah.
I know. It's like, whoa, in real life? No, no, I haven't actually. I've only been part of tennis Twitter for a very short amount of time, relatively, I would say. So it's probably not enough time for me to get meeting people yet. I'm hoping. I'm going to quite a lot of the UK tournaments this summer.
What tournaments are you going to?
Quite a few of them. I'm not going on holiday this year. I'm just going to see tennis. So Birmingham, Nottingham, Eastbourne, and Queens.
Oh wow!
But only like a day each. I'm not. I can't afford any more than
that. Wimbledon, no. Wimbledon's a no.
I didn't get any tickets. I did try.
No, yeah, no.
But I'm thinking of going Q possibly first week.
Yeah. Like I've definitely thought about doing that this year too. My friends Peter and Claire are both doing the same. Are going to be queuing. So I would love to.
Yeah.
I've never queued either. I've never been in the queue.
No, me neither.
So yeah, I think I would like to maybe try it. But you're going to 4 events. 4 events. Is that 4? My God! Wow. That is commitment. That's
a bit much, isn't it? Really?
No. You can't say that. You can't say that on a tennis channel. You can't say that on a tennis channel.
You can. No, 4 events.
Not at all. Not at all. But no, fair play to you. Fair play. Just changing back to tennis. Where are we at? Is Tommy Paul about to serve to try and stay in it? Is that right?
Yes, he is. Yeah, they're just showing that pretty incredible reaction.
That was phenomenal. That was phenomenal. Yeah, that was very good. That was very, very impressive. I like how did he apologize after? Oh no, he kind of apologized and thanked him.
I think they both sort of apologized to each other because Tommy Paul had sort of hit it at him and he was apologizing for that. And I think there was a bit of a mutual apology.
Yeah, and I think what Jarry's maybe saying is, Jarry didn't actually hit the ball fully. I think he kind of maybe framed it as well Sunday, so it was almost a miss hit. But yeah, it looks like Jarry's almost one step away from the final here, which is fair play to him.
I almost think I do think Kevin Dorr's got a point about 3 sets on clay is too many for Tommy. I know, Tommy Paul can obviously play 3 sets. He beat Hurkacz in 3 sets, for example, but that was a very different Hurkacz perhaps to what we're used to. I do think there's a point at which concentration-wise, Tommy Paul does struggle a bit more in these 3 setters against really ice-cold players like Nicolas Jarry. But
yeah, I would agree. I think that's a fair kind of assessment. And you thought Nicolas Jarry would be better placed to beat Zverev in the final. Do you think he beats Zverev in the final?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that's valid. I think part of that is just Zverev has just been very good.
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
I would very much agree with that assessment.
Well, obviously, Tabilo did take that first set 6-1 today.
That's right, which is yeah, and then I do believe he kind of almost got a little bit like scared of winning. As far as
it felt like that.
Did you watch it or?
I watched the second set. I didn't manage to see that 6-1 set that I would have probably preferred to see, but I watched the second set.
Well, I would have preferred to see that.
Yeah.
We'll just live this moment. Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. Can I just say, like just like taking everything else away, and we won't spend time really talking about it too much. But like, Zverev looks shit with that hair. Why is he not cut it? I mean, listen. I'm talking as somebody who has got the worst kind of hair of all time, but he looks bad. The hair looks bad. It does. Like it does though. Like it objectively. Like he grew it as a bet. I remember him saying in like some video last year, and like I was like, "It's a bet. Like you have to grow your hair forever, or like,
when does it end?" Yeah.
Can you not cut it at some stage? And he's wearing the bandana now, and it's like, oh, come on, man! Like it looks garbage. It just looks a bit terrible. So yeah, like that's enough talk about that prick. Let's watch Jarry serve for the match here. Is he going to get it done? Is he going to let the moment get to him? Who knows? Yeah, Tommy's raging at himself. I think maybe in a way he's frustrated that he's let this get away from him because he did so well to win that second set from a breakdown. And he'll almost be thinking at the moment, what was the point? I mean,
what did he gain?
What did he gain from that? An extra hour of play for nothing. He's he'll be frustrated at himself, which is natural. But I think Jarry has just been too good. And was that serve in? What do we think?
I think I'm just slightly behind you. Let me see.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's arguments.
Oh
no, there's not. Okay, all right. They settled their beef. That
was quick.
Yeah. Was it? Oh, that Hawkeye. Wait until you see this Hawkeye. Whew. Very close.
I'm ready.
It's very close.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
That's ridiculous.
No, that's when you know. Sorry, I'm a wee bit ahead of you here. I do apologize.
No, it's all right. It happens all the time. It's completely fine. Go for it.
Long rally here. My God, here we go. Ooh. Oh, good point. Sorry. I won't tell you.
I love tennis reaction.
You can guess who's going to win it. There you go.
Oh.
That was very.
Yeah, that's exactly.
If that landed in, I thought Jarry was going to go for a wee hot dog, but unfortunately didn't. He wasn't in quite the right position for it.
No, I think he would.
Who do you reckon is winning the women's title?
In Rome or Roland Garros?
Yeah, in Rome.
In Rome, I am going with a Sabalenka win tomorrow.
Oh, really? I'm surprised.
I am.
I'm surprised.
Especially, a lot. Everyone I've said that to is quite surprised, especially because I'm an eager fan. It's partly because I just think they often have a really.
Sorry, the point you're about to watch is just outrageous.
Right. I'm focused. Oh my God. Oh, Tommy, what are you doing?
Biff's at the end. I think did he not? It's showing a replay now. Pretty sure he missed the easiest one, right?
Yeah. He got the two really difficult ones.
Yeah, and then just fluffed his lines.
Oh, that's a great point, though. I'm glad this match came alive a bit. It was lacking.
Yeah, and now we've got match points. So we'll watch this match point, and then I'll get your assessment on the women's final.
Yeah. Let's see him probably get this done.
Oh no, goes on. Tommy Paul wins his point, so we've got another point.
Oh,
so I won't say anything when the match is over, and then you'll know, and then you won't know, but then you'll know. But then you will know if I don't say anything. But wait a minute.
I'll know if you don't say anything. So it's
yeah, I know. Maybe I'll lie to you.
That would be better. Yeah, please do.
Yeah. Here we go. We've got another point here. The first serves deserved.
Maybe there is a little bit of nerves.
Clay matches are the most spectacular on the tour. That's an opinion we can briefly discuss after this match.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm ready.
Did he make that? Did he? Yeah, he did. Wow.
Go away.
Wow. Yeah. Absolutely pumps a backhand down line.
Where is he getting this from? Match point down.
I know. Yeah, breathing hard here. He's breathing hard here. He knows he really does need to put him away. He knows that he needs to try this. Here we go. Ooh. Was it in? It was. Oh my god. We're at juice.
This is incredible. Match point down to choose that time to lock
This is fun. Here we go. From 40 Love. Tommy Paul not ready to lose. Jake, I've missed the Pavi G talk. You're all right, Jake. Don't worry, we won't go over it. Your friend Joe got mentioned in that chat, though. Lovely guy. Joe was chatting about Pavi G the other day. Oh, Jarry puts down an ace at the most important time in the match for him, for sure.
What time?
Yeah. Very impressive.
Huge roar from him as well after that. I like that.
Absolutely. He wanted that. Here we go. Match point 4. What did Jarry wear the plaster on his nose for? Is it?
I actually don't know. I always assume it's like one of those opening up the, like, I don't know what they're called, like the nostrils, basically, so that you can breathe better, right?
Yeah, probably. Maybe he'll be wishing he could have breathed better after that. No, you're about to see. Flubbed it. Absolutely biffed it, didn't he? Did not go well for him.
This has got to be nerves now, surely, because
I mean, to be repeatedly messing up to this extent is for his sinuses. There we go. Terry in the chat, you're providing the goods.
That's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Terry.
Sinuses. Yeah, you were saying nostrils. Yeah.
Nostrils is the least.
Yeah. I'll give you points. Tommy Paul really just does not want to go out of Rome here.
He loves it there.
I think he might win this game. Yep. Yes. Ooh.
Yeah. What is that? Tommy Paul.
That was I think it's
What a
nerves
chance
now.
to give it.
I think
It's
it's
gotta
nerves
be.
now. Yeah, that was not good. Listen, I'm no professional tennis player, but I could have put that one. I could have put that one on court.
You know it's bad when you think you could put it.
Oh! So I'm reacting to this partly just
No,
because I
this
know
is so
that you're
exciting.
taking that. That was fun.
Oh,
Just humbly winner. Why didn't you do that
go on
on
then.
any of his match points? That's what he'll be thinking. He'll be thinking, why can't I do that?
Oh, I know.
Here we go. Here we go. No. First serve deserted him yet again. A nasal strip. Yeah, that's what they're called. A nasal strip. The chat helping us out here, really.
Oh, massively. It's because it's just so late at night. You can't be expecting us to
To
remember
know
names
that.
of
Yeah,
things. Come
exactly. Exactly. This match really has came alive.
on. It's brilliant.
Oh, he missed it. Missed it down the line. I'm right into this. I never thought I would say that about a Jarry ball.
Here we are.
Harsh. So harsh. And yet I'm right invested.
Yeah. I'm
Both
loving this.
players have done well to make this an entertaining match.
Yeah.
This must be a topic of conversation. Tommy Paul's calves are pretty significant, right? Like
They're pretty
he's
special.
putting some work to go with calves. I'm not
Yeah.
making that up. Like his calves are just generally on average bigger than other tennis players. I'm saying that.
I think
like,
so.
I would say so. I don't want to turn this into calf chat right now, right at the end of this match here.
No, but I think a lot of tennis players have sort of, the legs aren't quite.
Yeah, aren't quite as
made for it.
Yeah. You know what I'm getting at. You know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I'm getting you.
Here we go.
Oh, that first serve. Can't get that.
Oh my god, this game goes on. Exciting game, yes. I'm glad that we're all enjoying it. I'm glad the chat's enjoying it. Glad we're all loving it here. Listen, I'm just gonna come out and say it. Djokovic and Nadal got nothing on this.
They wish.
Those big boys and all their trophies. This game has went on for 11 minutes. Jesus. It does feel like it, to be honest. Do you remember when Jarry was 40 love up? No, I remember.
How long ago was that?
Pepperidge Farm remembers. Finally finds the first serve. Here we go. Surely this is it now. Like how he wears a Wilson hat and Wilson shorts, but a Lacoste t-shirt. Yeah.
Is that suggesting that he's not actually sponsored, or?
Yeah, I would say it does, which is odd, right? Because I'm sure you can get Lacoste.
It's like when Ganarino was.
Yeah, feels weird. Well, maybe he just really likes a Wilson hat and shorts, or maybe he really just likes a Lacoste t-shirt. But if I was Wilson and I was sponsoring him for his hat and shorts, I would not be happy if he's wearing a Lacoste t-shirt.
No, exactly.
I'd be raging. There we go. There we go. Match is over. Sorry for ruining it. Sorry.
No,
I should have pretended. It's still going. Still going. What a good rally.
Oh,
that's a really good rally there.
It's all right.
Great rally there. Oh, is it over for you? Is it over for you there? Can I stop pretending?
It's over. Okay? You can stop pretending. You're safe. You're safe.
That turned into an entertaining match on the internet.
It did.
That turned into a fun one. I thought I was going to be here for like 20 minutes, and here I am, like an hour and 15 minutes later.
I know. Thank you for sticking it out.
No, absolutely not. Thanks for having me. I very much appreciated it. Before we do wrap it up, you were saying about the women's final. You were saying for why are you going for Sabalenka over your fave?
My girl. Yeah, I'm going for Sabalenka because I think their head-to-head is quite even. They often sort of go back and forth. I think Sabalenka's sort of due a win on that front.
Okay.
I also sort of think losing Madrid in the manner that she did with the, in the tiebreak, and it was, incredible.
Yeah.
But she was the loser in that match. That I feel like people don't, aren't really talking about the fact that she did lose it, however spectacular it was. And I think that's enough motivation for her going into this final to really take
Really
it to Iga.
And
If
I
Sabalenka
mean,
had won the other one, I would say it the other way around.
yeah, no, fair. And I think, I mean, we could talk for a while, but that rivalry is just so good. Arguably the rivalry in tennis, all of tennis at the moment.
Yeah.
Men's or women's, because they provide the goods every time, right? And yeah, it's just fantastic to see both players in their prime right now. Both winning big titles here and there, and then meeting each other in finals. It is, I would say the premier rivalry in tennis at the moment, which is good for the game just overall, but really great for women's tennis as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, are you picking, of course, one of them to win the French Open? Are you surely backing your fave, backing Iga to win the French? Right? Yeah, okay, yeah.
French Open.
She gonna go for Sabalenka there too? Nah, surely not.
No,
I would
so.
say this match tomorrow, the final tomorrow, will have a bearing on the French Open, because whoever obviously wins is going to have the confidence. And if Sabalenka was to lose tomorrow, then she's really not feeling it against Iga. Yeah, I'm intrigued. to see. What time does it start tomorrow? Do you know?
Somebody said earlier that they've scheduled it for 5 p.m.
Oh, interesting. It's a bit
I
odd.
wasn't expecting.
Yeah, that's a bit of a weird time. I can believe it though. I can believe
Double
it.
check. 4 p.m. our time, but 5 p.m. there.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, okay, so yeah, 5 p.m. Well, fair enough. Yeah, I'll go with Iga. I'll go with Iga since you're not backing your fave, because is she really your fave if you don't think she's going to win? I'm joking. I'm joking.
I think so. Yeah, you can safely.
Valid. Yeah, I'll go with her. I'll go with her tomorrow. Yeah.
Are you backing Andy Murray if he came up against Yannick Sinner right now?
Yeah, less said about that, better.
Okay, yeah. We can move on.
Although he did beat Yannick Sinner a few years ago. You remember that? Metalhead managed to beat him, and I can't remember where that was. Yes, we'll see. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me on in here, Kira. Really appreciate it. And I'll need to pop in.
Thank you very much for joining.
No, I'll definitely I'll join you guys again if I'm invited. If I'm invited by John.
I'm sure you will be.
It's always a wee privilege to be invited into one of these.
Yes.
And chat, thank you very much for anybody watching as well.
Yeah, thanks for sticking with us. We've been here almost 3 hours, so if you've stuck with us the whole time.
If you stuck all the way through with us, my God. Even when I came on, wow, they were like,
wow. Yeah.
Not this stupid prick. But yeah, thank you very much, guys, for watching. Kira, it was very, very lovely, lovely meeting you. Are you so you're on tennis Twitter? Am I right? Yeah. Do we follow each other on there? Is that a thing that we do?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, sorry, chat. You guys could all leave if you want. Me and Kira. What's your out on Twitter? What's your?
It's just my name. Because it's a rare.
Is it just your name? Did you get it?
Yeah.
Is it just your name? Hold on. Let me see. Did you get that as your handle? Nobody taken that?
Nobody taken it.
CIARA. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then your surname as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Let's see. Hold on. There we go.
Just while you're looking that up, thank you to Elam, thanks to Terry, thanks to Swarner, you guys for sticking with us. You're so great in the chat as always. Thanks for the stats and the questions and everything. It's been great.
And you guys should all go follow Kira on Twitter. We do follow each other. I was happy with that. But yes,
And
go do that.
obviously Scott as well.
That-
I've even got a
the only-
banner for Scott on the screen.
Yeah, there we go.
There we
Very
go.
much appreciated. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And yeah, we'll chat again soon. We'll chat again soon. All right. Catch
Absolutely.
you guys. See ya. Bye. Have a
See
good
you
rest of your
later.
day.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.